Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. It feels like 6 months since I've done one of these things. I don't know why I went so. Oh dear, I'm suddenly from Texas. I don't know why I went American. Hello, welcome. Yeah, God, this is a great start. But welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here as always. I really do appreciate it. We're going to get hopefully some important news this morning. I think Spurs are the early kickoff. So we might get some confirmation around whether Son starts, whether I would expect him to. And hopefully, we might get something on Bukayo Saka. Now, do remember that Arsenal don't play at 3 p.m. They play at 5:30. And Arsenal, they're a lot tighter with their leaks than a lot of other teams. So I wouldn't count on it, but I would definitely hold off for now and at least make your transfers in like an hour and a half. Especially if you're here right now. Just stay in the stream, kick back, relax, and at least let's see if we might get something. There was a video circulating yesterday that one of the members of the FPL community, I think it was FPL Tommy Gunn, I think his handle, we'll take a look in a second, but he basically filmed the Arsenal squad arriving at the hotel. There is one player that is like unidentified. Some are saying it's Sterling, some are saying it's Timber, it could be Saka, but we didn't really see anything like their face. It was just like based on like body structure, which doesn't really tell us a great deal. Do remember though that, was it 2, 3, 4 weeks ago when Raya didn't arrive with the squad at the hotel, but then was there after in the morning? Arsenal play mind games. Players don't always travel. He might have snuck through the back entrance. Like, you just genuinely don't know with Arsenal. So, yeah, I don't think that was Saka either. I think that was Urian Timber. Like, if I had to guess based on, like, the body type, it looked more like Timber than Saka. But just because that wasn't Saka doesn't mean that Saka will not be with the squad. I think early thoughts around this, before I then get off of me being huge on the screen and we look at my team. Early thoughts on this are, if you've got a really decent first sub, maybe you just hold Bukayo Saka. If you've not got a decent first sub and or you just want to get a little bit aggressive with FPL at the moment and you've maybe got, let's say you've got like 3 or 4 free transfers and you feel like you've got the opportunity to move off of Saka and then move back to him, then maybe you just go for it. And yes, Son and Foden would be my favourite too. If you've not got Palmer, I would definitely be tempted if you have the money in the bank to just move early for Palmer. Because after this week, it's Newcastle, Man United. So I do like the idea of moving for Palmer early and then you save yourself a transfer in game week 12. But I also just think the upside is really there with Son and Foden across the next 3 or 4 game weeks. And then after that, that's when you then move to Palmer. Anyway, it really depends what you want to do. Havertz was with the squad. Definitely, you could see Havertz in the video. We'll take a look at... Do you know what? Do you want to take a look at the video now? It's really difficult to just look at it as the video. I think it was FPL Tommy Gunn, wasn't it? By the way, drop him a follow. Apparently, he queued in the rain for like 3 hours because he lives in Bournemouth, basically. And he does this all the time. So give him a follow at FPL Tommy Gunn. But this was the video. I'll mute it just so that it's not too bad. So who have we got here? I'm going to really struggle with here. People like taking screenshots and stuff. But I'll point out when we can see Havertz. There's definitely Havertz in there. Who else did we definitely see? I think that was Marino there. That looks like Calafiori. Ben White. There's Havertz there. Oh, there's loads of sound coming out now. Oh, well. That's Kai there. Oh, no. I'm breaking my computer now. That's Kai Havertz there. So Kai Havertz is with the team. Oh, my God. Why does the sound keep coming out? But I'll try and pause it. It's right towards the end. There is a player that we're not sure who it is with Trossard. And it's probably Sterling, Timber, or Saka. Because they're the only 3 that we can't really see that would fit that general sort of height. I'll show you in a second what Andy Martin did, but it was hilarious. Because Andy Martin, who lives in Bournemouth, this is the person here. Who's that? I don't know. Now looking at it from that angle, I think that's Saka. That angle, Saka, but then when I paused it here, the way he's walking there looks like Urian Timber. I don't know. But this is the video that we've got. Whoever this is, if that's Saka, then great, but we just don't know. And then, yeah, Andy Martin. Because we know that Saka is 1.78 meters, which is the same height as me, actually. I'm exactly the same height as Bukayo Saka. Andy Martin is apparently 1.83 meters, so he drove to the hotel and stood by the sign. And so it would work out roughly that that could be Bukayo Saka based on the height. But I mean, this is can you like look at the lengths that we're going to try and understand. The only other thing that we have other than this right now, I can't believe this is the way the stream's starting, is there was a picture. You know, like Arsenal make sure that Bukayo Saka is in no team pictures if he's a doubt in training. You see this calf here, and I know this is ridiculous behaviour, but this calf here, it's almost the exact skin tone of Saka. And then what makes it even more likely, the only other player it could maybe be is Sterling or Partey, but Partey wears Adidas trainers, and Sterling, who I think is sponsored by New Balance, has really like hairy legs. So I don't think this is Sterling or Partey. And if you just look here, down the bottom left, that is a New Balance set of trainers. So because it's New Balance who sponsor Saka, I'm almost certain that's Saka's leg. Now, they are only stretching, and Saka could be a bit of an injury doubt and stretching with the team, but maybe it's a good sign that he's at least with the squad. That's literally all we've got to go on at the moment. I've not even looked at the chat to see how nerdy you think I am, but yeah, let me know. That's the detective work that we have. It's so funny. I can't believe. I never thought, if you'd have told me a few years ago that I would be sat here in front of over 1,000 people breaking down whether that is a picture of a footballer's calf and the arrival to the hotel, wouldn't have believed you. But there we go. Crazy stuff. Yeah, I do agree. It looks much more like Timber, the walk, doesn't it? But again, just because Saka is that tall. Saka's 1.78, which I think he's like 9 centimeters taller than Trossard. That player only looks marginally taller than Trossard. So yeah, I agree. However, as Merchant has just said in the chat, apparently it's the exact same backpack that Saka wore like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So unless they've put Saka's backpack on Timber to try and make it look like Saka, I wouldn't be surprised with Arteta in all honesty. But there we go. Anyway, so this is my team at the moment. We'll hopefully get some news. For me, I don't feel the need to use a transfer right now. The only transfer that I feel like I could justify and feel like it could be worth it is to sell Bukayo Saka. Now, I've got 2 free transfers and 0.1 in the bank. So I can't move to Salah. I've already got Palmer. So unless I decide that I actually want to downgrade Saka to allow me to upgrade someone else in the future, which I don't think I want to do, it really is Son or Foden. My heart always tells me to go for Foden because I love him. In game week 9 a couple of years ago, he's the one that shot me up to 500th in the world when he scored a hat-trick, sadly against my own club, Man United. And I've just owned him. Like, if you've watched my channel across the last 3 seasons, you'll know that every time I own Foden, pretty much, he goes absolutely ballistic. Like, I always seem to time Foden at the right point. But then something is just telling me that it might not be the right point. Like, the fixtures is perfect. Wolves and Southampton in the next 2. De Bruyne is in training, but is unlikely to be available for this week. You'd imagine that Foden gets good minutes across the next 2, but something's telling me that it's just not... It's not quite the right time to target him, to bring him in. And then the other option is Heung-min Son, who, again, it maybe feels like it is a bit early. Like, this is his first game back post-injury. You could imagine that he only gets 60 minutes. And even before his injury, am I right in saying that he wasn't getting like 90 minutes every week? Like, Sonny's minutes will be good. They'll probably be better than Foden's, but he's not the same essential player for Spurs. I almost feel like Solanke's more important, but I might have made that up. I did make that up fully. Wait, you got 90 minutes every week? I thought there was a game he came off early. Oh my God, I've made that up. I'm sure there was a game he came off early. Ignore me completely then. I thought there was a game he came off in like the 75th, 76th minute. Okay, ignore that altogether. Sonny's the man. That was my only concern, is that I just didn't know how many minutes he'd get once he was back. I think the correct pick is probably Son, based on minutes, probable penalties, fixtures, combined with also the fact that he's just a better finisher. I think I would lean towards Son. If we get news that Saka's out, if I decide I want to replace Saka, I think I would go Heung-min Son. But as to whether I will or not, I'm not sure. The reason that I'm less likely to do it is I've got Rodgers sat first sub. Now, some people might say don't bench Rodgers, but let's say I bench Cunha or Dibbling. It's the same thing. Like, I've got a very decent first sub. And I feel like if you've got a decent first sub and you like Bukayo Saka longer term, you could just hold him and just hope that your bench covers. The issue is, if Rodgers comes on for Saka and then anyone else misses out, like my bench is very weak at that stage. So there we go. Yeah, there are doubts around both Foden and Son for different reasons. Like, they're both absolutely great and they both have the upside, absolutely. But neither of them are sort of a stress-free pick, if that makes any sense. I don't feel fully like, yeah, they're an obvious pick to go for. That's why I think if I didn't have Palmer and I had the money in the bank to do so, I think Saka to Palmer may well have been my move. But I've already got Palmer, so I don't have that decision to make. So I guess a little bit of advice is that I would probably go for Palmer if you don't already own him and you've got the money to do so. 1 hour in the car by myself, going to enjoy this hour listening to you. Saka to Son is the plan. Very nice, Alexander von Sivers. What a name, by the way. I like the move. I do. I do really like it. I'm very tempted myself. So the only other decision for me then, if I decide not to or to sell Saka, I still need to think about that benching decision. At the moment, Dibbling, Cunha, Rodgers, I basically need to bench one. I know I've been talking about it all week, so apologies for the repetition. It feels like one I'm going to get horribly wrong. I think, in fact, I've committed to starting Dibbling. And I know that's the one that everyone wants me to bench. I just want to start him. And I spoke about, this might have even been like 5 or 6 weeks ago now. I want to play FPL my way. I want to be confident in my decision-making and back myself. And I like the Leicester fixture for Dibbling. And he's an exciting player to own. I feel more excited starting Dibbling than I do Cunha or Rodgers. And when I think it's such a close decision, I'm going to make the decision that it allows me to enjoy the game more. And so I want to start Dibbling. So Dibbling is going to start for me. I'm going to commit to that. So I basically just need to bench one of Rodgers and Cunha. In favour of Cunha, Cunha's got better data, he's on penalties, and he's playing at home. But Rodgers is arguably playing for the better team. That's it. Like, I'm just trying to think what else for Rodgers. He's a midfielder as well. Extra point for a goal, extra point for a clean sheet. And Fulham are yet to keep a clean sheet at home in the league. I think. Might have made that up. I think so. I just think there's more reasons to want to start Cunha. But the fixture's obviously better. That was the other thing I was saying. The fixture is better for Rodgers. Like, it's not a good fixture for Cunha. As much as you can say City find a way to concede goals, which they do, City are still a better defence than Fulham. So, yeah, I'll probably run a poll in a bit, but I just need to decide, do I want to start Cunha or Rodgers, basically? Did they keep a clean sheet at home? Why did I make that up then? I thought it was away. They did, didn't they? No, they didn't. They kept a clean sheet against... Yeah, they kept a clean sheet against Forest away. They've not kept a clean sheet at home this season, despite playing Leicester, West Ham, and Newcastle. I mean, they've not had great fixtures at home, in all fairness, but... Yeah, I think Fulham's defence is... They are pretty good. Like, if we look over at the non-penalty expected goals, like, there's not actually a lot that separates Fulham and Man City, actually. Like, let's go to defensive. Non-penalty expected goals against... You've got Man City with 7. Fulham are only slightly lower with 8. So the non-penalty expected goals against for the two teams is very, very similar for City and Fulham. So they're not an awful defence for them by any means. And the fact that Anderson is fit, I think they'll put up a decent performance. I think Fulham could beat Villa. But that doesn't matter. It's whether I think that Villa will score and whether I think that Rodgers will be the one that's involved in that. Lots of decisions to make. I feel like it might be one that doesn't end up mattering. Like, if Saka misses out and I decide not to sell Saka, I'll get whoever's first sub anyway. So you never know. Right, let me get back to answering your questions then. I'll stop thinking about my own stuff. I'll just put a quick poll out though whilst we're in the early stages of the stream. Who would you bench? The poll is who would you bench, okay? Not who would you start. I'd love to know. Who would you bench? Cunha against Man City or Rodgers against Fulham? And then I'll shut up about my own issues. I'm not putting Dibbling in there because I want to start Dibbling. And also, if I put Dibbling in the poll, everyone's going to say, bench Dibbling. He plays for Southampton. I've heard it all. Scott says, Raya, Saliba, Robinson, Lewis, Palmer, Rodgers, Salah, Madueke, Vardy, Haaland, Wood. I really like that team. A few different players in there. 1 free transfer, any advice? Bench all have flagged, still have wildcard. I don't think so, mate. That's a really nice team. You don't have the Saka issue. You don't have even the Havertz doubts, even those with the squad. Vardy's got a great fixture. Madueke's a good player to own despite it being a trickier fixture. I think that is the only player that I could say, like, for the next few, you've already got Palmer in there. Like, do you need Palmer and Madueke for a tricky run of fixtures? You could remove Madueke for... Is Brennan Johnson still the same price? Madueke to Brennan Johnson's not an awful transfer. But other than that, you could just roll. I don't think you need the wildcard based on that team right now. I would wildcard in Game Week 12, Scott. And I would either roll the transfer or do Madueke to Johnson, Kulusevski and get a Spurs mid in. Especially as you don't have Solanke either. You may be lacking a little bit of Spurs. Mourinho snuck in a trolley so Saka could do too. Could you imagine? I actually thought that Saka could be in that trolley that they pushed with all the suitcases in. That'd be so funny. Morning, brother. Start 3. Trent, Lewis, Gvardiol, Rodgers. Oh, I would probably bench... I'd maybe... I feel like you should bench one of those City defenders, but which one you bench is difficult. Maybe bench Rodgers, actually, and just back City. Maybe just start your 3 defenders and bench Rodgers. I wouldn't normally advise that, but trying to decide which of your City defenders to bench could be quite tricky. I mean, based on recent games, it's probably Gvardiol that you bench of the 3. Great to be back. Some great FPL therapy videos these last few weeks. Thank you very much, Shazam. I appreciate you. Keep up the great work. Happy-ish with my team, so rolling my transfer this week, getting ready for Game Week 12. That's in the back of my mind as well. I'm looking at this and thinking, yeah, Saka to Son or Foden could work out. But at the same time, I'd really need it to work out for me to not regret using 2 transfers to take out Saka and bring Saka back in. And I know going into Game Week 12, I'm going to look at my team and think, oh, I wish I had a wild card. And if I'm sat there with 4 or 5 free transfers going into 12, I'm not going to be as gutted because I can just utilize all of those to basically rebuild my squad. So yeah, that is in the back of my mind. Like, it's finding that balance between planning for the long term, but also still attacking the short term. And what I don't want to do is keep rolling transfers so that in Game Week 12, I've got 5 free transfers, but then I've lost out on so many points between Game Week 8 and Game Week 11. So it really is this fine balance. But yeah, I'm quite happy with my team. So I think I am probably leaning towards keeping Saka, especially as I can just have Rodgers come on if he misses out. Start 1 of Semenyo, Mikalenko, Harwood B. I think I'd start Mikalenko out of the 3. You could justify starting Semenyo, but I think I would back the Arsenal defence and just start Mikalenko. Jason says, hi Ross, on Wildcard I'm looking at the cheaper options in their fixtures. I'm looking at Rodgers in my original team, / Leaf Davis, or Rodgers and Davis, or McNeil and Greaves. Which do you prefer? Is McNeil worth looking at? McNeil is fantastic for the next 4 or 5 weeks. He's got Ipswich and I think Southampton in there as well. But I just think if you're on your wildcard, longer term, Davis is such a better pick than Greaves. And I think Rodgers is very, very good himself as well in the long term. I would ever so slightly lean towards Rodgers and Davis, but I am very biased because I own those 2 and I don't own McNeil and Greaves. But I just think that is a better combination of players. Just about. It's very, very close though. Gordon and Trent out, Palmer and 8 Nuri in for a -4. I don't love the -4, and obviously 8 Nuri this week you don't want to play. I do wonder could you do Gordon and Trent out for Palmer and 8 Nuri next week? When 8 Nuri has a better fixture, Palmer has a better fixture, Trent has a more difficult fixture against Arsenal. I feel like Trent out could wait until next week for most people. If you want to make it this week, go for it, but I feel like it could wait. 4 free transfers, Trent, Saka, Havertz and Diaz out for 8 Nuri, Foden, Son and Solanke, Haaland captain. Trent, Saka, Havertz and Diaz out. I hate removing those 4 players, but you have to say that getting Foden, Son and Solanke in, considering it's for free, I would be very tempted to do so. But just know that that is something that could horribly backfire. Like, if I told you that Liverpool beat Chelsea 2 or 3-1 and Arsenal beat Bournemouth 3-0, I don't think you'd be that surprised. And then you're basically transferring out 4 players from teams that scored like 6 goals combined. Like, it should, in theory, work out, but it also could backfire quite a lot. I would just about lean towards saying yes, but I don't think it's a clear-cut decision. Hopefully that helps. Steve says, just switch Pedro for Raul or take a hit for Saka and Pedro to Foden and Cunha. Palmer, Rodgers and Mbeumo, my starting mids with Haaland and DCL up top. I think I would just do João Pedro to Raul. I really like Raul Jimenez for the next few. Do you know what? Yeah, I would just about say Pedro to Raul Jimenez, but I do love the idea of Foden and Cunha across the next, like, let's say 4 to 5 weeks. I feel like that pairing could do very well. So short term, the first option. A little bit longer term, I don't mind the Foden and Cunha switch. Giandra says, Ross, please help my wildcard. Sells Fabianski, Lewis, Davis, Harwood Bellis, Gabriel, 8 Nuri, Mbeumo, Saka, Johnson, Foden, Diogo Jota, Solanke, Chiwomi, Haaland. So initial thoughts are Sells is a slight doubt and also not a very good goalkeeper. I would look elsewhere personally. The bench is a bit weak. Like, you've got Chiwomi who's not going to play, Harwood Bellis who's not great, and then it's one of your other cheaper defenders. I wonder, can you make the bench slightly better? And then I would just have concerns over the upcoming period about Diogo Jota. Diogo Jota is fantastic when he plays, but remember that from game week like 14, 15 onwards, is it? I think that's when we enter December. There's just going to be a lot of games coming thick and fast, and I just don't know that I would want the headache with a Liverpool midfielder. Those would be the only positions that I could see myself changing if I was playing a wildcard this week. But other than that, it's a really nice team. I like the Foden punt. I like having Johnson and Solanke. I like 8 Nuri in place. It's a good team. Can you arrange my bench? Mikalenko, Greaves, and Carvalho. I think you've got the bench in the right order already. I would play the bench in that order for sure. I mean, you might be able to put Carvalho ahead of Greaves, maybe, but I'd have Mikalenko first sub. What do you think? I've got Robertson, Trent, double up. It could. Well, I think Chelsea will score, but if Chelsea don't score, then you're laughing. But yeah, I think Chelsea will probably score, so I don't love it this week. And then next week they play Arsenal, so... Good morning, all. Good morning, Frosty. Good to see you in the chat. JML says, wildcarded this week. Kelleher, Lewis, Gvardiol, Gabriel, McNeil, Palmer, Mbeumo, Son, Wood, Raul Jimenez, Haaland, bench of Flecken, Van der Ven, Carvalho, Burgess. What do I think? Kelleher is not a bad option. My concern is, like, why do you want Kelleher? Because the next few are quite difficult for, I guess 10, 11, 12 aren't. And you might get game week 12, but you also might not get game week 12. Like, Alisson could be back then. I don't mind the Kelleher punt, but like, I wonder if it's worth it when you could just own someone like Flecken and just start him every week. Lewis, Gvardiol, Gabriel's good. McNeil, Palmer, Mbeumo, Son, Wood, Raul Jimenez. So the only question that I would raise with your wildcard is it's kind of short term. That's not an issue, by the way, but Wood's fixtures run out soon. McNeil's don't last forever. Kelleher's a bit of a short-term punt. Lewis and Gvardiol, I don't think you'd want either, really. Maybe you could have one, but after game week 12, I'm not sure you want both. Son is a bit of a short-term punt as well. Raul Jimenez is a bit of a short-term punt. Like, I like the team a lot. It's really well set up for the next 4. Like, in fact, it's much better than my team for the next 4. But then game week 12, when that swings around, it's a little bit short-term. Even your bench of Van der Ven, for example, is another bit of a short-term punt. That would be my only slight concern. But it is a nice team. If you're enjoying the stream, by the way, 2,000 people here. We've only got 150 likes, which isn't a lot. So please do like the stream if you're enjoying it. And make sure to subscribe as well. I do really appreciate the support. But yeah, make sure you like that stream. It spreads it out to more people, basically. Saka to Palmer / Fernandes, not Fernandes. And DCL / Wood to Solanke -4. I wouldn't sell DCL or Wood. I'd keep both of them. Saka to Palmer's absolutely fine. I wouldn't do Saka to Fernandes, though, personally. Yeah, Saka to Palmer, but I wouldn't do the DCL Woods to Solanke move. Listen, I think Solanke's going to do really well this week, but do I think he'll do that much better than DCL or Wood? Not convinced. DCL's got a brilliant fixture, and Wood's been in a nice run of form. I mean, there's no Gibbs White. Might that affect Wood? Absolutely, it could. Like, the only game where Gibbs White wasn't present this season was the... Was it the Fulham game when they didn't score and Chris Wood didn't have a shot? He might have missed another game, but yeah, that one, it was very clear how much they missed Gibbs White. Saka to Son for free. Yeah, I don't mind that, Callum. Taylor says, I have 1.1 in the bank and 3 free transfers. Tempted by Saka and Diaz to Son and Foden. I love that, to be fair. Yeah, I do really like that. Other option is to keep Saka and just get Maddison for Diaz. Also, do you agree with starting Rico and Davis in a back 4 ahead of Rodgers? Yeah, I actually... So, let me go through them one at a time. Saka and Diaz to Son and Foden, I think I would do it. And then Rico and Davis in a back 4 ahead of Rodgers. Rico definitely I would have ahead of Rodgers. Davis is very close. I think I would just about go for it, though, yeah. He's got decent attacking threat. He's got a home fixture. There's a very, very small chance for a clean sheet. Yeah, I think I would start Davis ahead of Rodgers, actually. As crazy as that sounds. Andre says, wildcard this team. Henderson, Gabriel, Lewis, Trent, Eze and Burmo, Smith Rowe, Saka, Watkins, Haaland, DCL, bench of Semenyo, Aina, Greaves, Valdemarson. Don't think that needs a wildcard. No, I don't think that needs a wildcard at all. You got various things you could do with the team. Like you could move Eze to Johnson if you're not convinced by Eze anymore. You could remove... I mean, it's a good team, actually. You could go Watkins to Solanke if you wanted a Spurs attacker. I don't think that team desperately needs a wildcard. Now, could you wildcard? You absolutely could. But I would probably wait for game week 12 if that was my team now. Like, you've got Haaland for the next 2 weeks. You've got Saka in there. If he plays, is great for this week. Yeah, I think I would wait. I think I'd wait until game week 12. But you could definitely wildcard if you're feeling it. Bench Jackson or Rodgers? Oh, I would start Rodgers. I think Liverpool defence are very good. I would start Rodgers there. Should I sell Havertz for Solanke? I don't think I would sell Havertz for Solanke, no. I think they're very similar assets, and so I don't think it's worth the transfer. I'd keep Havertz. Just about. I know lots of people have done it, but I wouldn't. Posh with the super chat, but no message, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. Is that little Red Devil? Is that little Man United one? Heinz says, Duran to Haaland need to fund through Trent and Salah to Lewis and Dibbling, or Jackson and Salah to Rodgers and Delap. Ooh. I think I'd be tempted by Rodgers and Delap, you know. Rodgers is a nice long-term hold. And Delap, I don't think Delap's a great pick by any means. But with the fixtures that he's got coming up, I probably do prefer him to Jackson for the next 4 or 5. Yeah, I'd be more tempted by the Rodgers and Delap combo just about. I like it. It's fine. I think you do want to get Haaland. If you've not got Haaland, unless you're just really happy going without, I think you probably do want him. Jackson to Solanke -4. Jackson to Solanke for a -4. I'd be tempted. Just because I think he's not only better this week, but he's better for the 3 fixtures after that. So I feel like for the next 4 weeks, you'd expect him to outscore Jackson by 4 points. I would just about say yes. Will says, hey Ross, if Saka is out, would you rather go for Son, Foden, or someone else? I have Mbermo, Rodgers, Semenyo, and Johnson. I think if Saka is out, and let's say I owned no one, I would say Palmer, Son, Foden. Just. If you've got Palmer or you just don't want to have him for the more tricky fixtures, I would just about favour Son ahead of Foden. But I think that is such a close call. Like I'm talking about like 1 or 2% difference between the two of them. I don't think it's an easy one at all. Dave says, Trent to Porro, a decent move this week to help me have Saka, Palmer, and Haaland by game week 12. It's not a bad move, but I don't think that Porro is that much better than Trent this week. Like if you're doing Trent to Porro to allow you to have a better team in 12, could you not do Trent to Porro in game week 12? I do think that Porro is marginally better for the next 4 weeks, but I don't know that it's that clear cut because Trent is just a better asset playing in a better defence. I don't mind it, Dave. If you've got a good feeling about Porro, then go for it. Philippe says, hi Ross, 2 free transfers thinking of Havertz and Diaz to Solanke and Johnson/Madders, assuming Saka starts. Roll, make only one or both. Thanks. Okay, so you've got Havertz and Diaz to Solanke, Johnson, Madders. I would be tempted to keep Havertz and just do the Diaz to Johnson move if it was my team. Yeah, I would probably do that. I'd keep Havertz and do Diaz to Johnson or Maddison. Depends who you want. I'd probably go for Johnson just because he's cheaper. And he says, hi mate, Diaz and Robertson to Mazraoui and Foden. Yeah, I actually don't mind. I don't love the Mazraoui pick. I'd go for a different defender. But I like the idea of getting Foden in for Diaz. Eze for Brennan Johnson or Roll and start Rodgers or Robinson. Oh, that's a tough one. I would be semi-tempted to keep Eze. I would do Eze to Johnson. Yeah, Johnson's in a hot run. The next 4 are really good for Spurs. I'd probably do that. I'd start Rodgers ahead of Robinson. As good as I think Fulham have been, I think Fulham concede. So, yeah. So, 68% of you think I should bench Cunha. When are you doing Saka to Son, boss man? Not answering that question. I'm not doing it. I love Bukayo Saka. I like the idea that everyone's selling Saka as well and just hope that he plays. Ladies and gentlemen, can we like the stream? Best FPL YouTube streamer about. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you. Why, chat, you're making me second guess my benching Rodgers decision. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to me? Is that door stuck again? The door of my bathroom's like the handle gets stuck. I could just hear Pickle in the background like struggling to get out. Yeah, I know. I was thinking I'm gonna have to come and get you. How come you're going for Dibbling over Rodgers? Fun, and I want to. Like, genuinely, that's it. The fixture's obviously a lot better as well. I will just point to the fact Rodgers' data is worse than all three as well. And I know people say data's not everything. Like, I agree data's not everything, but I'm not saying it is, but it's like an objective measure of, listen, like, you can say he's passing the eye test, and he is, but I can objectively point to the fact that he has not had a high quantity or quality of chances. Like, he's got 0.13 XG. That stinks. That really stinks.
He was not fantastic against United.
Yeah, I know. We were at Villa Park. He wasn't great. Like, I'm not saying he's not had a great season. Look at those minutes. They've been miraculously good, but he's got 0.3 XGI. If I point to Leif Davis has got 0.23. It's not far off, to be fair. Lewis has got 0.17, not quite as great. Gabriel has 0.23. I think Nuri's even closer, isn't he? Yeah, 0.24. Like, 3 of my 4 defenders are very close for data. So, listen, Rodgers is probably going to go out there and score a hat-trick if I bench him now, but his goal threat to date has been abysmal. Dibbling hasn't been much better, by the way. Only 0.06 higher, but he's had 0.09 higher in terms of XG. So his goal threat has been a little bit better. I will admit that is basically just this one game. Outside of that, he's really not had much goal threat. But I think when they're that close then, why not start the player with the better fixture? And then Cunha just has much better data. 0.32 XG, 0.5 XGI. And he's on penalties. So that's kind of the justification for benching Rodgers at the moment. But yeah, I might regret it. I might not even do it, to be fair. I might change my mind in a second. Trust your gut. The issue is the only gut feeling I have is to start Dibbling. In terms of Cunha versus Rodgers, I don't really have a gut feeling around it. Like, honestly, like I could use the tactic that I always tell you, to trust your gut feeling, flip a coin. I actually don't know who this is when I need that we're healed, to be fair. I actually don't know who I want to start out of Cunha and Rodgers. Like, everything in the way that I normally would play FPL would say start Rodgers. Because he's playing against City at home, Cunha. So maybe I do. Frosty, go away with your framing. Stop. Frosty just framed it as a team in 5th away to Fulham versus a team in 20th who have 1 point against the best team in the league. See, because when you frame it like that, then yeah, I bench Cunha, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Hi Ross, 8 million to replace Gordon. Do you think a Spurs player? Yeah, I would say so. I'd go for Brennan Johnson or Maddison. I'd probably go for Johnson still, like I said, because you might not need the money right now, but you might need the money next week. You never know what might happen. So when they're that close, I think Maddison and Johnson are very close. Why not just go for the player that is around $1 million cheaper? I have Salah in my team currently, but not sure whether to change to Saka, Palmer, Son to free up money. He has 3 home games in the next 5 and could haul. I think there's a good chance I look to bring Salah in between game week 10 and 12. I would keep Salah. If I had Salah, I think Salah could do well against Chelsea, to be fair. They've got no Cucurella, they've got no Fofana. Yeah, I would probably keep Salah in my team. Unless you feel like you really need the money, I think I'd keep. Robbins, especially because he's the best captain in game week 12, you could say. Maybe you could captain Palmer instead against Leicester away, but Southampton away is such a good fixture. I'd probably keep Salah on myself. Luke says Robinson to Lewis or Eze to Johnson. I don't know that I'd do Robinson to Lewis. I think I prefer Robinson over the next 6 to 8 weeks in their entirety. I'd probably prefer Robinson. I would do Eze to Johnson if you're going to do one of those moves, Luke. Start Rodgers or McNeil. Fancying starting McNeil. Oh yeah, definitely start McNeil ahead of Rodgers for sure. He's got Ipswich. Like, if you're not starting McNeil against Ipswich, why do you have him? There's no point having him. You might as well just own Dibbling at a cheaper price. One free transfer. Salah out for Son if he's leaked he starts, or Salah and Rodgers out for Foden and Johnson -4, or keep Salah, already have Palmer. I kind of just answered that, Matt, that I would keep Salah. I would not do Salah to Son. If you're going to do one of the sets of moves, I would just do Salah to Son. I wouldn't do Salah and Rodgers for Foden and Johnson for a hit. So yeah, I would say keep Salah, Salah out for Son, Salah and Rodgers out for Foden and Johnson. Jackson and Semenyo to Johnson and who? If you can afford Solanke, I'd go there, but you probably can't. I would say like Chris Wood probably, although I'm a little bit worried about how Gibbs White might affect him. If not Chris Wood, oh, it's a tricky one. I mean, it really depends. Like Raul Jimenez for the next few could do really well. If you're looking longer term, then probably Cunha. Maybe even Calvert-Lewin. I said in my deadline decisions video, I think it would be, if you're looking for a forward, Wood, Jimenez, Cunha, or Calvert-Lewin. If you can't afford Solanke. Start one out of Semenyo, Jackson, or Mikalenko. Oh, that's tough. I'd maybe start Jackson of those three, Simon. Mikalenko's obviously got the best fixture. Jackson's got the best data of the three, obviously quite comfortably. I would start Jackson, I think. Savio's not with the squad. 3 straight benchings. Has that been confirmed or just he wasn't in the video? Just because someone wasn't in that video doesn't mean they're not with the squad. It just means they weren't in that video. Some players arrive later. Some players might not be at the hotel. We've seen that in the past, that they arrive in the morning rather than in the evening. I wouldn't stress too much. But yeah, that isn't great if he's not, especially if you've had him for that period. Trent Diaz to Porro Foden or Nuri Palmer for free. I'd be very tempted for Porro Foden for the next 4. Yeah, maybe go there. Porro Foden. Martinez to Raya, no Arsenal defence currently. I'd keep Martinez. I don't think you need an Arsenal defender for the next 4 or 5. That's not me saying that they won't keep a clean sheet, by the way. I've got double Arsenal defence. But I don't necessarily look at the next 4 fixtures for Arsenal. I think you need to own an Arsenal defender. In game week 12, absolutely, I'd look to bring in an Arsenal defender, though. Constantia, have I butchered your name? So sorry, but thank you for becoming a Rap Tier 2 member. I really do appreciate it. Welcome. MN Chuckster says, by the way, thank you for a super chat at literally every stream, MN Chuckster. I appreciate you. Hi, Ross. 2 free transfers. Thinking about 2 moves. Saka and Diaz to Palmer and Johnson. Love that, to be fair. Or just Diaz to Johnson. Keep 1 free transfer and move for Palmer next week. Which would you go for? Thanks for the content and enjoy the weekend. Thank you very much, firstly. Secondly, I think if you've got a good first sub, I would do Diaz to Johnson and do the move next week. If you've not got a first sub to cover Saka if he does miss out, I would just do both this week. Yeah, I would only do it though, really, if you just really don't like that first sub. And also wait, like we might get something in the next hour which tells us that Saka is fit and available, in which case I definitely wouldn't make the move. Polkit says, hi Ross, thanks for the amazing content, loving the therapy. Thank you very much, my man. Almost 3 years as a member. Attacking the fixtures, Saka, Diaz, Jackson to Foden, Son, Cunha/Jimenez for a hit. I absolutely love that. I mean, if you're really attacking the fixtures, go Jimenez, but those 3 transfers are nice. I mean, it's not ideal selling 3 good assets, but it is the season where we're just going to have to move around really good assets based on fixtures. Like, people are selling the likes of Trent, Saka, Diaz this week, who are great assets, but they just don't have the fixture as much. So it's what we're going to have to do, I think. Harry Wright says, Watkins to Solanke and Diaz to Maddison, or -4, DCL to Solanke, Diaz to Maddison, and Semenyo to a 4.4 hit. If you're going to make one of those, I probably just prefer Watkins to Solanke and Diaz to Maddison, but I don't necessarily think you need to sell Watkins. Could you just do Diaz to Maddison? That would be maybe my preferable move. Listen, I think Solanke's really good for this week. He's got my Vice armband. I'm just not sure that I'd be selling some of these great assets just to bring Solanke in. But maybe that's easier for me to say when I already own him, I suppose. Any Saka news? Nothing definitive as of right now, no. We've got like little bits of information. There's a training picture where we feel like we can see his calf. There's a video where it could be Saka in the video, but like basically nothing definitive at the moment. I would say, just so that you're not let down, I would say there's more chance of not getting something than there is getting something. Just because Arsenal play at 5:30 and they're also pretty tight in terms of leaks. We don't tend to get too many leaks. Any Spurs team news? Nothing yet. We obviously know from the press conference yesterday that Sonny's very likely to be available to play. And I think he'll start. Whether Son will get 90 minutes or not, I've got no idea. You'd imagine he won't get 90 minutes. You'd imagine he gets like 70, but that's still good. Hi, Ross. Would you start Semenyo or Dibbling? I would start Dibbling. I would start Dibbling 99 times out of 100 there. You've got to. You can't start Semenyo against Arsenal ahead of Dibbling against Leicester. I'm not saying that will work out. I'm saying that's, in my opinion, what you've got to do there. Paul Clapperton says, welcome. Oh, he doesn't say that. I say, welcome to becoming a Rap Tier 1 member. I do appreciate it, Paul. Thank you very much. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy your time with us. Sounds like I'm like an Airbnb. Sophie L has been a member for 13 months. Thank you very much, Sophie. I appreciate that. I think you were meant to attach a message, but you didn't. But thanks for being a member for 13 months. I can't remember who said it, but concerns over Solanke playing deeper. But if Son comes back, he might assume that responsibility. Doesn't this make Son objectively worse than Johnson, pens aside? I'm not going to say no, but I do think there is some element of like overthinking this stuff. Like Son is just I would say, drastically better player than Johnson. I would also say he is 20 to 30% times the finisher that Johnson is as well. And I would also say that Son, when he's fit, his minutes are better. And he does take some set pieces. And on top of that, he will take penalties we expect. So yes, Johnson might play slightly closer to the goal. I just think that Son's that much better as an asset. Now, when you take into account pricing, yeah. If you take into account pricing, you could say that Johnson is better value than Son. But I would have to see 6 weeks of Johnson like outscoring Son for me to change my perception and say that Johnson is just objectively a better asset. Sophie says, it didn't give me the option to leave a message. Oh, that's sad. Sorry. But thank you for being a member. I do appreciate it. Oh, my back. Chat, I'm like an old man. My back's terrible. Oh my God. Did you hear that? You might have even heard that on the mic. Sound like I broke my back. Audible sigh. Thoughts on Rashford? Just avoid Man United players for now. We don't even know whom we're going to have in charge in 3 to 4 weeks. I would just really avoid. It's annoying because the fixtures are there to attack for Man United. They're not bad at all. Even this week against Brentford. Brentford have not been good defensively. Smith Rowe to Foden and Trent to a 5.2 or less defender. Open to suggestions. Or just roll the 2 free transfers. Yeah, you could do. Maybe go for Anthony Robinson if you're looking for someone you could start this week and not bad midterm fixtures. You could go for Leif Davis as well. Still like him as an option. If you don't have to start them this week, it's probably still Ryan Ait-Nouri. I'd be very tempted to make those moves. Yeah, I would. Dibbling over Rodgers is insane. I just don't get how it's insane. Like, genuinely, can you try and explain to, like, someone, because lots of people are like, try and explain what is insane about it. And remember that saying he plays for Southampton and that Rodgers plays for, saying that Dibbling plays for Southampton and Rodgers plays for Aston Villa, that doesn't matter at all in FPL when Dibbling's underlying data is stronger than Rodgers. Because if you extend that logic, it's like saying I'd rather start Akanji than Solanke, because Akanji plays for City and Solanke plays for Spurs. It doesn't matter who they play for if they're getting the chances. We saw in the past, I'll give you a good example if you played FPL for a while, Pookie. When Pookie played for Norwich, he was still a brilliant FPL option because he still got chances. So like, I don't get the idea. Southampton haven't scored more than 1 goal in a match this season. Villa score for fun. Yeah, and Dibbling scored that goal and got an 11-pointer. Again, what's the fun? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't... Fulham are also far better than Leicester. Exactly. That's exactly the point. The fixture is absolutely there to target for Dibbling. Move with Mike says 3 free transfers. Trent, Diaz, Semenyo to Ait-Nouri, Son, Foden. Locks me out of getting Palmer, though. Could just do Diaz to a cheaper Spurs mid this week. I think if you lock yourself out of Palmer until 12, that's fine. Like, I don't think that's a stress, especially when you own Son and Foden. I'd go for it. I'd really attack it, make those 3 moves, and hopefully one of, if not both, Son and Foden go massive for you this week. I'd be very tempted. I really would. Start one of Smith Rowe, Semenyo, Leif Davis. I have McNeil. Yeah, if you've got McNeil, maybe you just back like a Smith Rowe. I'd probably start Smith Rowe. Why are people acting like Rodgers is like Mohamed Salah? It's crazy. Maybe it's because they're starting Rodgers. Yeah, it's probably because you're starting Rodgers and you want some confirmation bias, I'd imagine. Didn't expect that many people to be so bothered. Dibbling over Rodgers isn't insane, but Cunha over Rodgers is a bit wacky for me. Yeah, that's the only one. I agree with that. That's the difficult one to decide. I just think Fulham have been very good this season. Difficult decisions to be made. Cunha's had good data in most of the games that he's played. It was 1.13 here, 0.58. Didn't have a great game against Newcastle. Villa are just a very decent defence. Liverpool are a great defence. In the games where he's played against slightly weaker defences, he's done well. But obviously, City aren't a weak defence, so maybe. Someone did send me a list of the games that Cunha scored in, like big games. And Cunha does score against difficult opposition quite a lot. Like, he grabbed the goal against Villa. He grabbed the goal against Chelsea. He has that in his locker. I don't know. What are you thinking, Pickle?
I'm still kind of tempted to start Cunha, to be honest.
I'm going to change it like that and see how I feel. Just see how I feel. See how I feel looking at it. It might be that once I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I'm looking at that. I feel better about that now. You know? If you've just joined the stream, welcome. We are just answering your questions, talking about whether we think Saka to the likes of Son and Foden are good moves. And also, I am just going over and over in my head whether to start Rodgers or Cunha. I'm benching Rodgers too. You're my confirmation bias. Oh no, I've just changed it for now. I'm going back and forth. It looks so much cleaner, but I think that's because the yellow kit doesn't blend well with the blues, reds, and whites. Frosty, are you telling me to bench Cunha just because of the colour scheme? I do appreciate that, though. I sometimes look at my team. I think it was Crystal Palace last year. Or maybe the year before. What was the year? It was the year before, wasn't it, where Crystal Palace had that like half and half kit. I hated looking at that in my FPL team. It made me genuinely not want to own their assets. Love that I'm a look at it and see how it looks logic. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just put a player back in your team, you go, that looks better. I love 3-5-2, which is why Rodgers in the team feels better, because I like the 3-5-2, but maybe we do this. I don't know. And if Saka doesn't feature, I'd get them all anyway. I don't think so. At the moment, I don't plan to. Smith Rowe to Dibbling and Wood to Solanke -4. No. Saka to Foden. I don't mind Saka to Foden. Don't like Smith Rowe to Dibbling and Wood to Solanke at all. Is Foden an option with KDB back in training? I don't think KDB will play this week, which means Foden will. And even next week, I don't know that they rush him back into the starting 11 against Southampton. So I think Foden gets the next two, at least, which is the two that you really want to own him for. So yeah, I think Foden's an option, but just don't be massively surprised if he gets benched in the game. Like, that's the risk that you have to take with Foden. Good morning, Raptor. Would you start Kanate or Ola Aina? Ola Aina. Yeah, Aina. Darshil says, morning, Ross. Do Diaz to Johnson or Jackson to Solanke, or just play Dibbling over Diaz and roll? I like the idea of starting Dibbling. I would be more wanting to do Diaz to Johnson than I would Jackson to Solanke, I think. So yeah, either Diaz to Johnson or play Dibbling. I do like the idea of starting Dibbling, but then I'm biased because I am starting him. Start one of Rodgers, Smith Rowe, Greaves, or Keane. By the way, I really like how you approach FPL in terms of having fun. Keep it up. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Who would I start out of? Rodgers, Smith Rowe, Greaves, and Keane. I wouldn't start Greaves or Keane, so it'd be Smith Rowe or Rodgers. That's a really tough one. Oh, that's a really tough one. I mean, they're playing against each other, aren't they? I'm kind of semi-backing Fulham in this game. I think I would start Smith Rowe ahead of Rodgers. Just. That's very close, though. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Frosty. My plan was always to bench Cunha. What's changed? I think it was seeing Fulham absolutely batter City on XG, seeing Rodgers stink it up a bit at Villa Park, and Cunha just looking quite good. Although he didn't do that much outside the goal, did he? Yeah, you are right there. What has changed since last week when I wildcarded and the plan was to bench Cunha? It's a good point. It's a good point you make. This is why I stream, for good opinions like this. I swear to God, if you've convinced me, chat, 69% of you telling me to bench Cunha, if Cunha goes and scores a brace against City, let me tell you, and I decide to bench him, oof, I'll never stream ever again. That'll be me done. That will be me done. I'm captaining Maddison. I respect it. I'm captaining Haaland, and it feels nice. Let me tell you how much more I enjoy my weekends having Haaland in my team. I did not enjoy my weekends not owning Haaland. You know? So, welcome back, Haaland. You can stay on my team forever. No, I'm joking. I'll probably sell Haaland soon. I actually am probably going to sell Haaland between game weeks 10 and 12. Always start the most attacking attacker. What, so you're saying start Cunha? JM says, hey, bud. I have a pretty template team. Saka, Palmer, Mbeumo, Haaland, Solanke, Gabriel. When's the best to use the first wildcard and why? It's game week 12, I think, because the fixture swings in game week 12. So Spurs come out of a nice fixture run and they get a little bit more difficult. Cities get a little bit more difficult. And the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool all start to improve a little bit. That being said, you've got Saka, Gabriel, Palmer, and Mbeumo. Like, you've got a very good team, considering you've not used the first wildcard. I would pencil in game week 12, but if game week 12 swings around and you don't need it in game week 12, then I think you're probably looking at somewhere between game week 16 and 18 to set up for that sort of very busy Christmas period. It wouldn't be 18, it'd be like 16, 17. So yeah, aim for 12. If you don't need it in 12, 16-ish. And then you can remove players like Lewis, Diaz, if you own any of them, rotation risk defenders, and then just bring in those nailed assets. You want 90-minute man all over the team going into the busy Christmas period. It's sort of semi why I picked the team I did. Outside of Dibbling, who I don't want to start most weeks, my attack is just basically 90-minute men most of the time. Cunha, Solanke, Haaland, Rodgers, Palmer, and Mbeumo, Saka, they're all absolutely nailed on. The defense has Gabriel and Davis, who are two 90-minute men. Once I replace Lewis with another 90-minute man, I should have a strong 11 of players that just very rarely miss out, because I think that's what you want. That's my advice from previous seasons where I've gone a little bit wrong. I go into that busy period in December and I have players that just aren't nailed on, and I'm frantically checking the team sheet every time. So I'm going to try and stick with relatively nailed players wherever I can. Bloody hell, look, I put Cunha on the bench, and now all I'm seeing in the chat is people telling me that Wolves are going to score. Why are you benching Cunha? There's no pleasing you. There's no pleasing you. Outrageous. You do my head in, chat, honestly. Don't know why I bother half the time. Anyway, on that note, if you're enjoying the stream, please do drop a like on it and make sure to subscribe. I don't know. I have committed to starting Dibbling, so there we go. Ross, don't follow the herd. Start Cunha. I don't think it's following the herd. If you ask me to predict, what do I think the score will be in the City Wolves game? I think City Wolves will be 4-1 to City. And if you were to ask me, what do I think the score will be in the Aston Villa Fulham game? I think 2-1 or 2-2. Maybe 2-1 to Fulham. I guess then by that logic, if I think Villa score 1 goal and I think Wolves score 1 goal, I should start Cunha. I guess my thought process is, if I am to, I'm really massively overthinking this, but if you were to ask me, if one of Wolves or Villa score 2+ goals, who do you think it is? I don't see Wolves scoring 2+ goals against City. But I could see Aston Villa putting on a decent performance and winning 2 or 3-1 against Fulham. I think that's more likely than Wolves doing the same. FPL Tony tweeted an Arteta gif. I very, 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 very much doubt FPL Tony has Arsenal team news, which he doesn't always get, 7.5 hours before the game. He's just probably trying to direct people to his Patreon, in all honesty. He started a Patreon, so he's probably just trying to get people to answer that. Maybe he does. You never know. The difference between Rodgers and Cunha will be at most 5 points. Realistically, they both get 2 that's 3 points. Yeah, exactly. That's the thought. Yacho. I'm really sorry. I'm going to butcher your name. Gyacho. Welcome. What a cool name. Thank you for becoming a Rap Tier 2 member. Paul says, good morning. Who to bench, Rodgers or Delap? I'd start Delap there. Yeah, I'd start Delap ahead of Rodgers. My other thought process, and this is the final thing I'll say, if Cunha scores, whilst he is good for bonus points, you would imagine that there are City players that will get more than one return. Hopefully Haaland is one of those. Maybe it could even be another player. I doubt he gets 3 bonus points. So I think Cunha's ceiling, and I might regret saying this, is probably 6 or 7 points. But I equally don't think Rodgers gets a great deal more than 6 or 7. But if it's a tight game and Rodgers gets the only goal, for example, you could see it being a 10 or 11 pointer for Rodgers, I suppose. That's the argument back in favour of Rodgers. Who knows? I'm sure I'll get it wrong. I'll spend all week deliberating and I'll get it massively wrong. Dan says, good morning, Ross. Start one of Conser, Davis or Rodgers. I'd honestly start Leif Davis, but I'm a massive Leif Davis fan. I'm literally chairman of the Leif Davis club, so don't trust me too much. Is taking out Watkins an option with Saka a doubt? I'm trying to work out the correlation between the two. Are you saying you own Saka? Should you take him out instead? I think taking out Watkins is fine. I don't know that I would rush him out, but if there's a player that you desperately want to own instead, go for it. Havertz is starting. You'd imagine so, yeah. Havertz was with the squad, so he should be starting. This just highlights why you need a new computer, as it's 100% a Will scenario. Should I try and spin it and see if it breaks my computer? I'm going to regret this. We're going to try and spin the Will. You ready? Chat is back. We're going to try and spin the Will. Now, I will warn you, the stream's going to crash. But it will be worth it when the Will delivers some useful information for us. Rodgers. This is to start. Okay? This is who do I start? Does it crash the stream? I feel like they didn't spin as many times as normal. Okay, it's best of 3, of course. Stream's still present, according to... Oh, God, that didn't go well, though. Okay. Rodgers. Count 1. This is to start. Yeah, the stream's not liking it, but it's fine. Okay, Cunha. Okay, we're on one more spin. This is the one. This is what I mean by not having a gut feeling, though. Normally at this stage, I'm like, please land on this. I don't really care because I don't know who I want to start. Which tells me that I actually have no idea for once. I've missed that music. There you go. It's start Cunha. No, I lied completely there. It was start Rodgers. Start Rodgers. I tell you what, whilst I still don't have a gut feeling around it, I didn't feel bad when it told me to start Rodgers. Always been a fan of the Cunha pick. Cunha should be on penalties, and I'd hate for a penalty to happen with him on the bench. Love the content. Yeah, this is the thing. Penalty takers are often the best in FPL, aren't they? Why are you starting Rodgers? Listen, why'd you do this to me? Do you know what? I'd give up with you, honestly. Should we run a captaincy poll? I don't think we need one this week, but we'll run a captaincy poll. Replace Havertz with Solanke or bank my transfer? I'd probably bank the transfer, Sophie, but I do think Solanke is a better option than Havertz, but I just don't know that it's that much better. And I think Havertz is still great. What was I doing? Captaincy poll. Captaincy poll. Haaland against Wolves. If we're not captaining Haaland, who are we captaining? So Saka isn't starting, joining this late. We have no idea if Saka's in the squad starting or anything at the moment. No idea. Salah. Okay. Saka, Palmer, Solanke. Okay, I'll put Saka against Bournemouth away. I think that he looks like the third most popular. And then I'll say other comment. Why don't you play Van der Berg? He's at United at Old Trafford. It's an easy clean sheet. I strongly disagree.
Absolutely not.
I strongly disagree. Just put Haaland 4 times. There will be some crazy people that don't fancy captaining Haaland, and I respect it. And Burmo, some people are going for. I think people are slightly over-egging how bad United are. Genuinely, I do. It happens every time. Like, people hate United so much that any opportunity where United aren't playing quite as well like that, they overemphasize how bad United are. By the way, I'm not for a million years saying United are good. But again, if I point to data, which people hate, but it's all I can go off really, their non-penalty expected goal involvement, goals conceded essentially, they're in the bottom half of the table. But even with that game where we played with... Oh, my camera's gone. Even in that game where we played with 10 men when Fernandes got sent off and Spurs created over 6 XG or something ridiculous, even with that, and we've not had the best opening fixtures, it's still not... Like 10.9, it's the same as West Ham, Crystal Palace, slightly worse than Newcastle. It's not good, but it's not like you absolutely target them. And then in terms of attacking, which is what people are saying there, non-penalty expected goals, Man United are the 7th best attack so far this season. Now, we struggle to put the ball in the back of the net. We've scored 5 goals from 11.14 XG. So that is the issue. The issue isn't the XG, it's the converting it. I just don't fancy starting a defender against a team that is in the top half of the league in terms of underlying attacking data. That being said, we aren't passing the eye test, so I will absolutely accept that. But yeah, I don't think it's as bad as people are necessarily thinking. I don't want to start Vandenberg. But that's why he's second sub, not third sub. That's why he's ahead of Ait Nuri, because I can appreciate that he's got a better chance probably of getting something than Ait Nuri does. If Ait Nuri gets more attacking returns on my bench, I'm not going to be best pleased. Because I then know as soon as I need to start Ait Nuri, it will do nothing. Ross, is your book available on Amazon? Yeah, it should be. Just type in the Mind Game FPL. It should be available there. Yeah, the Mind Game FPL. If you just type in the Mind Game, it doesn't always come up. But the Mind Game FPL, and then it will should be there. Thank you for considering getting it. I appreciate it. Is Saka going to start? No idea. I would say yes, but that's a prediction. No news. The big balls players bench Lewis and Rodgers and start Vandenberg and Cunha. It is, but I wouldn't do that because I think that's terrible, benching Lewis for Vandenberg. Now Lewis isn't going to play, is he? That'd be sad. Like, it's a shame that they aren't an early kickoff because they play tomorrow, Man City, so we've got no idea. Is Rasmus Højlund an option soon? He's certainly someone we'll consider, especially if we get a new manager. As of right now, no. One of the lads from Arsenal Fan TV indicated he'd been told from someone in the know that Saka will not be in the squad. I saw that. I tweeted it and I got absolutely battered. So I haven't spoken about it since. But yeah, there's a guy called Lee Judges. Apparently Lee Judges gets like early fixture announcements and he's definitely got a source. But in this video here... Oh. So I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that, but basically they said, Saka and Martinelli, are they okay? And Lee Judges says no, and he says Saka won't play on Saturday. He's got a little smirk on his face and he's like, no, I don't think he'll be in the squad. It might be more mind games. It might be like an extension of Arteta where he's just got no idea, but he's playing mind games. Some people are suggesting it's trustworthy. Most people were laughing at me. Like, it got quote retweeted by like Arsenal fans. Like, oh my God, can't believe people are using Lee Judges as an FPL team news source. So if it's true, then maybe we listen more in the future when he speaks about it. But I guess we'll wait and see. I know this is a crazy thing to say, but I honestly wouldn't mind Saka missing out because it means I don't have to make the decision between Cunha, Rodgers and Dibbling. It means I'd get to have all of them. That guy hasn't got a clue. Apparently he got the December fixtures like a month before everyone else. So he clearly has a source of some kind because there's no way that you can predict that. So he's clearly got some kind of information. Like I said, there's no way to predict the fixtures accurately. So replace JP, no budget, Delap, Rao, Strand Larson, other. I would say Raul Jimenez, Delap, Strand Larson over the next few. Longer term, Strand Larson, Raul, Delap. So it depends on the sort of outlook and the horizon that I think Strand Larson will be a really good pick in the long term, but yeah, not for the next few. He's not as good as someone like a Raul Jimenez, I wouldn't say. Oh, my throat's gurgling. Who would be your wildcard essentials for this week? Wildcard essentials. I'd have Solanke and Johnson. I'd have Foden. I'd have Palmer. I'd have Haaland. There's some of the essentials. Other than that, I mean, go for whoever you fancy. I would just say think a little bit longer term as well. Like, look at the fixtures from Game Week 12 onwards. Don't just look at Game Week 8 to 11. I've seen a lot of wildcards this week that are really attacking the next few, but then they're going to look very weak from Game Week 12 and beyond. Watkins and Semenyo for Solanke and Johnson, 2 free transfers. Yeah, I don't mind that, to be fair. I'd probably be tempted. Jace says, bench Saliba or Lewis, starting Edison and Gabriel already. I would bench Saliba and start Lewis, personally. It could backfire, but with Saliba, you're usually looking at a 6-point maximum, maybe 7 or 8. With Lewis, he always has the chance for attacking returns and clean sheets, more so. I'd probably start Lewis ahead of Saliba. Hi, mate. Great streams. Mateta or Calvert-Lewin? Love. Calvert-Lewin for me, and thank you very much. Is Jackson to Solanke worth the transfer, or save it and then hold Jackson? I would probably make the transfer if it's for free, yeah. Eze for Dibbling or Smith Rowe for Dibbling and Porro for Cunha. Eze for Dibbling or Smith Rowe for Dibbling and Porro for Cunha. Do you mean, is that supposed to say João Pedro for Cunha? I would probably say the latter then. If you can get João Pedro to Cunha, I quite like that. Should I sell Palmer or Salah for Son and for a -4 hit? No, I'd just keep Palmer and Salah, in all honesty. In previous history, this could potentially be a low-scoring game. Like, I'm pretty sure that all of the Liverpool-Chelsea games in recent history have been quite low-scoring. But Maresca and Slot are new managers, so it's a completely different game now. Like, I don't think you can glean any information from that when you've got 2 completely different managers. And a lot of the players are very different as well. So I don't think you can glean too much from that. I still think this could be a relatively high-scoring game between Chelsea and Liverpool. What pages should I follow for reliable Liverpool team news? The Cop HQ on Twitter is the only one that I like fully trust. It's at the Cop HQ, or just type in spy on Cop. Havertz and Diaz and Trent for Solanke and Son and 8 Nuri for a -4. If that was for free, I'd say yes. For a hit, I'm not so sure. I'm not as convinced for a hit. Sorry. I don't hate it, though. Are you wearing a cap to FPL Harry's wedding? Yes. Can you imagine? In a suit? No, I'll have my big old bald egg out. I'll make sure to take some pictures and obviously share them on socials when Harry is happy for me to do so. I will be going with Oscar, FPL Focal. That'd be fun. Why do you feel doubt about Foden? I'm thinking of switching Saka to Foden for a major differential. I don't feel doubt about him. Well, I suppose I do. Like, he's only recently, it's been like 4 or 5 weeks now, but come back from an injury. I don't think he's looked good in any of the games, even for England. Like, I just don't think he's looked that good. That's it. And so it is a bit of a risk. He's also not on penalties. We know that. He doesn't take set pieces. Like, he's not got multiple, I always get this saying wrong, strings to his bow. Arrows to the string. You know the saying. Is that right? Is that right saying? Cool. He's not got multiple weapons in his arsenal. Let me say that. And there's not an Arsenal pun there. I just feel like I think I'd prefer Sonny just about to Foden, but I still think Foden's great. Also, once De Bruyne is fit, which could be as early as next week, there could be the chance of rotation. I don't know that he gets 90 minutes every week. Can we see Pickle's team? No. Pickle's team is similar to mine, but she's got McNeil rather than Dibbling, and she's got Van der Ven rather than Davis, and she's got Flecken rather than Raya. Is that the only differences? So she's got Flecken, Van der Ven, McNeil. I've got Raya, Davis, and Dibbling. And she's making the decision around Rodgers versus Cunha as well. I think she's currently got Cunha starting, but she's not sure. I kind of want us to make the same decision though, because then we can either both be sad together or both be happy together. Hi Ross, love the content. I've got 5.2 for a defender. Who do you think I should get? Udoggy's not a bad shout, by the way, as a differential, but I would probably go for 8 Nuri, Leaf Davis. Who else is there? I mean, if you've not got Rico Lewis yet, you could still go there. I don't know. Actually, I might be tempted by Udoggy for the next 4. No one owns Udoggy. Massive differential. Best Diaz transfer or Havertz to Solanke? Both. Free transfers. I wouldn't do Havertz to Solanke. Honestly, I wouldn't this week. I think Havertz is fine for this week. I'd go Diaz to Johnson, probably. It feels a bit... unless you've not got Mbermo. If you've not got Mbermo, by the way, for everyone that's been asking, I just assume that you've got Mbermo. But if you've not, I still would go Mbermo. Is Pickle playing Van der Ven this week? Yeah, I think so. I think she's got no option, really. She could... Have you got Greaves? She could play Greaves, but you play Van der Ven. Oh, you got Vandenberg as well? Okay. Yeah, she's playing Van der Ven. Incoming bullet header. Trent Semenyo to Lewis Foden -4. 30k overall rank. That's a crazy overall rank. Trent Semenyo to Lewis Foden. I would do that, yeah. I would. Attack the upside. Hey, Raptor, any Saka news? Got 39.9 Celsius and fever, so I haven't checked up on stuff. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. Feel better soon. No Saka news at the moment. I don't think we'll probably get any. There's a chance in the next 45 minutes we do, but I think it's more likely that we don't. Hi, Ross. What are the chances Saka starts? I need to know. I've asked all the other streamers. They haven't commented. I would say I am 61.7% in favour of Saka starting. It's just a prediction. The reason people aren't committing is we don't know. I feel like committing either way is almost like streamer negligence. Like you shouldn't commit because we don't know. Unless someone's got a leak, which they shouldn't do this early, saying that you are sure that he starts or doesn't start is just wrong. If we don't get news, are you holding Saka? I am, because I'm happy to have Cunha come on. But again, if you do not have a good first sub, or Rodgers, like I might start Cunha, by the way, I've not decided, but I've got a first sub coming on that I'm happy with. Delap or Jimenez? I would prefer Jimenez to Delap. Play Van der Ven or Mikalenko this week. I'd play Mikalenko. English players will cook to impress Sir Tuchel. What do we think, chat? What do we think about Thomas Tuchel being the England manager, especially if you are English yourself? I get both perspectives, really. I get the perspective that we just want the best manager for our national team. And I also get the perspective that part of supporting your national team is the patriotism, and having a manager that isn't from your country, leading your country. I do also get that there is something that isn't quite right with it. I don't know. I'm probably more of the opinion that it's good for our national team, because I don't see many English managers that I would trust taking us to the World Cup. That's the thing. Like, if we had an English manager that was such a standout that we knew that they could do a similarly good job to Thomas Tuchel, then maybe. But yeah, I'm probably of the opinion it doesn't feel quite right, but it is probably the best move for our national team. That's what I would say. He's going to play Saka left wing back, isn't he? We're going to have left wing back Saka, or Palmer at right wing back. Dibbling or DCL? Probably DCL. Start Dibbling or Delap. That's very close. I'd probably start the lap just about. Most people seem to say that it's a good move. You get a few people that don't. Yeah, Sven is a good example of... The thing that I think that is working in Tuchel's favour, and don't worry, this isn't just going to be a stream talking about Thomas Tuchel. The thing that is working in Thomas Tuchel's favour, I think, is that he's saying how much he feels passionately about England, about the Premier League, about the fans. He said ow when he spoke about like, ow, like our national team. Like, he's not just come in and said that he just wants to win just with England. He's making it seem like he wants to be a part of the project, which I think is important. Like, that's how we can get on board with him. But anyway, we'll see. Yeah, I really like... The reason that I was gutted, actually, that Thomas Tuchel took the England job is I wanted him at United. I really, really, really wanted Thomas Tuchel at United. But that's not going to happen, which is sad. Bench one of him, Burmo, Delap, McNeil. I think you got to bench Delap there. I think you got to start in Burmo and McNeil, personally. Say dibbling 10 times fast. Dibbling. That is difficult. Fair play. Robinson or Winks? Definitely Robinson. Ross, would you go Traore or Rodgers? I'd still probably just about favour Rodgers, but I do like Adama Traore. Not many are talking about Wissa since he's back fit. The thing is, Thomas Frank didn't say he's definitely available for game week 8. He didn't rule him out, but he didn't say he's definitely available. Also, he's coming back from a fairly long-term injury. I think just give it a bit longer. But yeah, once he's back, Wissa's a seriously good option. I need to see him back in the starting 11 before I would be tempted to go there, though. It's just not worth the risk. It's not like Wissa is that amazing that it's worth taking the risk as to whether he starts or not. Is triple captain Haaland a good idea? Haaland's away data was actually very good last season. In fact, it was I think it was the best in the Premier League, his away data. But the season before that, he was much better at home than away. So I kind of need to see a little bit more to decide. I'm not sure that if it was Wolves at home, I'd be more tempted. I think that next week against Southampton at home is a better triple captain opportunity than this week against Wolves away. I could be wrong there, but I think that's the way I'm leaning. I am very tempted to triple captain Haaland next week. There will definitely be a discussion to be had around whether we go for it. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream, please do drop a like on it, but more importantly, please do consider subscribing. Normally, about 10 to 20% of the people that are watching these streams aren't subscribed. There's about 400 to 800 of you watching this right now that aren't subscribed to the channel. Please consider doing so. Diaz out, Maddison in. Yeah, I think James Maddison's going under the radar slightly, but I still think that Brennan Johnson with his goal threat might be the better one to go for. Especially considering the saving in price as well. Start Trent or Ola Aina. I would start Trent in it every day of the week. Trent's brilliant. Start two of Porro, Aina, Rogers, Mikalenko. I would start Porro and Rogers. Maybe I'd start Mikalenko. No, I'd start Porro and Rogers, I think, just about. AKU says, good morning, beautiful Eggman. What 3 players would you start between Welbeck, Rogers, Wood, and Semenyo? I'd bench Semenyo. Good luck this week to you as well. Yeah, I'd bench Semenyo. God, my belly is rumbling. I'm a hungry boy. I guess I didn't have anything to eat this morning. Havertz, playing or no? Havertz was with the squad. I think Havertz will start, yeah. Why does no one have McNeil? FPL Pickles got McNeil. Yeah. Site's already going slowly, by the way. No way. There's not that many people playing FPL this morning. I don't believe it. Must be your internet. Let me see if the app's functioning well. I don't think it's a busy enough week, personally, for the site to be crashing last minute. Unless we get some early team news, then it might, potentially. Spurs team news. Nothing yet, but I don't think... I think Son and Solanke will both be fine. Have you done a challenge team, Ross? I'll be honest, I just can't get on board with FPL Challenge. Like, I really wanted to. I was even considering doing like one YouTube video on it a week. Or having like a section in my videos. I can't get on board with FPL Challenge. I don't know what it is. I think what I enjoy about FPL is the long-term nature of it, the strategy, the planning, the seeing your rank, the seeing your mini leagues. I just don't. Yeah, I can't get on board with it. I'm sorry. I really wish I could. I just can't. I forget that it's even a thing, in all honesty, most weeks. Play Davis or Harwood Bellis. I'd start Leaf Davis ahead of Harwood Bellis 4 million times. Out of 4 million. Are we likely to get Spurs news? I think there's a good chance. Not a great chance. I don't know of many good Spurs early team news accounts, but there are a couple. So yeah, there's a chance we find out. Do you think Foden will start? I'd be extremely surprised if Foden doesn't start. Thoughts on the F1? Yeah, cracking lap from Max Verstappen, wasn't it, in SQ3? I think clearly the Red Bull looks fast and the McLaren looks a little bit shaky, but that was still a brilliant lap from Verstappen. I think Norris will be very happy that that was only sprint qualifying and wasn't qualifying for the main Grand Prix. Because Norris is in fourth, isn't he? And Verstappen's in first. That would be a bit... If that's the situation going into the Grand Prix on Sunday, that's a disaster. Anyway, I won't talk about F1 in the main part of the stream. Why is Saka yellow flagged? Because he's a doubt. He has a slight hamstring injury, apparently. That's the only concern with me for Saka is when it's hamstring related, they're often a little bit... They're often a little bit more hesitant. Imagine an F1 FPL. There is F1 Fantasy. You can play it. It's like 5 aside almost, but you can play F1 Fantasy. Will says, good morning, Ross. Hope you're well, mate. Would you start Mavadidi or Rogers this week? I'd start Mavadidi. Southampton away, isn't it? I'd start Mavadidi, yeah. Robinson, Greaves or Mikalenko to start? I'd start Mikalenko. Start Mikalenko. What are you thinking, Pickle? Can you or Rogers? I've got Rogers. Okay. No, don't, because you're better at FPL than I am.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I was doing work.
Okay. Gut says Canate, Brain says Lewis. Oh, I don't think you can start Canate instead of Lewis. Although, if your gut says it, Callum, maybe just trust your gut feeling. I don't know that I would advise starting a centre-back against Chelsea rather than a midfielder against Wolves, though. Personally. Start Trossard or Smith Rowe? Ooh. I'd start Trossard. Yeah, Trossard should be playing as the number 9, you'd imagine. Solanke versus West Ham or Ndiaye against Ipswich captain. You can't captain Ndiaye. Solanke. Ross, just do whatever Pickle does. Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of thinking. She's literally like so much better at the game. It's not even like, I'm not even saying that ironically, like she's just much better. Solanke for Havertz. No. I think Havertz is brilliant. I don't understand everyone's desperation to sell Havertz for Solanke this week. Yeah, does Solanke have a slightly better fixture? Yes. But Havertz's data this season has been remarkably good as well. If Solanke was known to be on penalties, it would be different because that would give him a major advantage. 0.64 XGI per 90 is really good. I know Solanke's, by the way, is better than that. Solanke's 0.8. But I don't know that I'd be desperate to make that move this week. Next week, when Solanke has Crystal Palace and Havertz has Arsenal. Is it Arsenal? Yeah. That's the week to make the move for me. So I would do Solanke in next week. But if you've already made the move, by the way, I don't mind it. It's not a terrible move. Start Rico or Mikalenko? Oh, that's a tough one. I'd still start Rico Lewis, just about. But obviously if he's benched and comes off the bench, that's tough. I think I'd start Rico Lewis just about Chintan, but that's very, very close. Start Aina, Powell or Greaves. I'd start Ola Aina. Play Mikalenko or Greaves. Mikalenko. Jackson and Robinson out to Solanke and Lewis, -4. I don't know that I'd love to make that -4 this week, but yeah, I probably do prefer just about, yes, but it's very close. Brandon Van Tonda, by the way, has become a Raptor 2 member. Thank you very much, Brandon. I appreciate that. What a cool name as well. Everyone's got such better names than me. Moha says, thoughts on Diaz to Foden for the next 2 games before he becomes Salah/Palmer in game week 10. Thoughts on Diaz to Foden for the next 2 before he becomes Salah. Yeah, I quite like it, to be fair. Yeah, take the punt. Go on. Go for it. I can live vicariously through you then. Johan says, Justin or 8 Nuri don't need to start in game week 8. I'd definitely prefer 8 Nuri to Justin myself. Morning. Good morning, Sam. It says, Saka to Son or Jackson to Solanke, fast first sub. Given that you've got fast first sub, I mean, it's not an awful fixture this week, actually. I'd go Jackson to Solanke. Jackson to Solanke for me. Charlie says, good morning. Should I do Diaz and Semenyo to Johnson and McNeil? Leaves me with 1 free transfer and 1.8 million in the bank. Yeah, I quite like that, actually. Yeah, I'd be very, very tempted. Go for it, Charlie. I like it a lot. Sells, Gvardiol, Van der Ven, Saliba and Burmo, Rogers, Saka, Foden, Vardy, Haaland, Solanke. Bench of McNeil, Davis, and Mikalenko. 0.2 in the bank. 2 free transfers. Honestly, it's such a shame that you've got a couple of doubts. That's a bench boost. That is a bench boost team. I would be extremely tempted to change your sub goalkeeper. Like, you could do Saka to Son and then change your sub goalkeeper and play your bench boost there. I'd be tempted to play the bench boost, Lucian. But other than that, no, you could just roll the transfer. That team's incredibly strong. I'd probably start McNeil ahead of Rogers is my only advice there. And I'd probably start Leif Davis ahead of Van der Ven. Should I stick with Luis Diaz? I really don't mind sticking with Luis Diaz. Everyone's removing him, but I think he'll start. And Chelsea are without Cucurella and Fofana. I'd be very tempted to stick with Luis Diaz. But I equally think like Luis Diaz to like a Brennan Johnson for the next 4 probably pays off. I basically can see both sides. Hey bro, start Dibbling or Rogers and why? I prefer Dibbling to Rogers because I think they've got very similar attacking threat, but Dibbling has the better fixture. The Liverpool Review says, Ross, I've just done Mbeumo, Diaz and Havertz to Palmer, Cunha and McNeil for -4. Starting to regret it. Help. I don't know if you want my honest opinion. Like, I would not have sold Mbeumo in a million years. A trillion years. I think he's that good. And also you've sold Havertz to bring in Cunha. I guess it depends how much you want Palmer. I mean, you've done it now, so I can't tell you not to do it. In the long term, I think it's fine. I think you want Mbeumo back ASAP, though. I would have sold any other midfielder ahead of Mbeumo, personally. But yeah, just get Mbeumo back would be my advice, basically. Why is no one talking about Kelleher as a cheap alternative? Because the fixtures aren't really there for Liverpool. It's just not worth, I think, making a transfer for a goalkeeper for a few weeks when the fixtures aren't really there. And even if he keeps clean sheets, other goalkeepers could match him that are better in the long term. If we knew that Alisson was out until like game week 20 something, then yeah. But it looks like Alisson could be back as early as game week 12. So I just don't think it's worth it for the next 4 weeks. Rogers or Rao? I'd go Raul Jimenez. Who's the bigger sell, Jackson or Semenyo? Who's the bigger sell? Neither of them are massive sells. Probably Semenyo No, Jackson because of the price. I'd probably sell Jackson before Semenyo. To be fair, I would want both Jackson and Semenyo in game week 12. They've both got a really nice fixture run in game week 12. Start Hudson-Odoi or Maguire. Oh, God. Probably Hudson-Odoi. Saka bench, apparently. Says who? If that's the case, by the way, I think I would make the move. If we knew that. But I would want very definitive information on that. I would want it to come from someone that I trust fully. Then I'd probably make the move. I should probably decide now if I want Son or Foden if we get news, right? Because I don't want to be deciding that last. Do you know what? Let me run that poll right now. If... I don't know, what am I doing? I answer your question. I'm just setting up a poll for basically Son versus Foden. If we get news Saka isn't starting, who do you prefer to buy? Son, Foden.
Everyone's teams are so different.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
I think we're forced into a lot of difficult decisions at the moment, and people are going in different directions with it. And also, like, wildcards have been, like, some went for the early wildcard, a lot went game week 6, a couple have gone, like, around now. Some have got 3 premium, some have got 2, some have got Trent, some have got Havertz or Solanke. Like, yeah, I definitely think that when I look at the teams now, obviously there are players like in Burmo that most people have, and a lot of people will have Solanke this week. Lots of people have Gabriel, for example. But, yeah, teams are definitely very different. I like it. Oh, Cameras wants to be reset once more. Really not having a good time with it today. Start Dibbling or Mikolenko. I'd start Dibbling. 1 week punt Semenyo to Mavididi. Not a 1 week punt. I hate 1 week punts anyway, but especially at the moment, with the fact you can roll transfers through wildcards, with the fact that you can get up to 5 free transfers, I just don't think 1 week punts are as advisable as they would have been. Ross, what are you voting? I'm not telling you my opinion at the moment because I don't want to... Oh my God. Is my camera going to just not work today? Please work. I'm not going to tell you who would go out of Son and Foden because I don't want to massively impact the poll. Because as soon as I say who I prefer, people just go in that direction. Or the opposite, to be fair. Knowing you lot. Pain in my bum. Son has 3 out of 4 home games. This is true. But Lewis plays against Wolves, who are terrible, and Southampton, who are terrible. So, but yeah, that's definitely a plus for Heung-min Son. Thank God the camera's back. The poll is close. Wow, it is 53% Son, 47% Foden. If you are in the stream, by the way, right now, there are almost 5,000 people in the stream. We've only got 800 votes on the poll. Can you make sure if you're in the stream right now, you vote on the poll? It's basically, if we get news Saka isn't starting, who do you prefer to buy, Son or Foden? I think I would just feel better having Son in my team. Simply from a perspective of, I don't need to worry about the team sheet each week. Like next week, I would love to have Foden for Southampton home. I mean, love. But if I know that KDB's close to being back and Foden doesn't play that well against Wolves, I will be sat there just thinking, do I know if he's going to start? And I don't know that. Whereas with Son, I'm almost certain he starts when he's available. But in terms of who do I think could go absolutely ballistic across the next 2, I'm not saying Son couldn't against West Ham and Palace, but I have a feeling that Foden's ceiling might be a bit higher. I mean, again, if you've not got Palmer, maybe you just go for Palmer. But I've got Palmer already, so Son hasn't been as good since Kane left, in my opinion. This is the only concern. Like wide on that left, even earlier in the season, he's not been great, has he? Yeah, maybe I'll go Foden. I want to do it anyway. I won't do it unless we get news. And in all honesty, I don't think we get news. But yeah, if we get news, I think I'm leaning Foden. Just. Don't know how I feel about that. Sorry, someone said I missed their super chat. Let me go check. McNeil to who? 1.2 million need to use a transfer. Why would you sell McNeil? Just keep McNeil, Martin. I don't understand the question. Start Canate or Greaves? I'd probably start Canate. Which 2 to start over Dibbling, Rogers, Delap? I'd start Dibbling and Delap and bench Rogers. Ross, am I mad to use a free transfer on Palmer to Son? Yes. If Semenyo to McNeil for fixtures, start over Rogers. Yeah, if you sold Semenyo to McNeil, you'd definitely start McNeil ahead of Rogers. Yeah, I think so. I low-key want a reason to get Foden, just a gut feeling. I know, that's exactly how I kind of feel. Like, I wouldn't mind if we get confirmation that Saka's out, but I don't think we will. Which midfielder for 6.3 million and below? I think Kulusevski's still at that price, isn't he? Maybe not. Kulusevski could punt on. Smith Rowe still not awful. I don't know who else. Or you just go all the way down to like a Rodgers, potentially. Okay. Sorry, I got a message I can't read out, sadly. I can show you. There you go. Virgil, Concert, or Greaves? Virgil, Concert, or Greaves? Oh, that's tough. I would go... Oh, that's really tough. Big Verge. Big Verge bullet header incoming. I hope not, because that'd probably be a Trent assist. But
God, draft. I don't want a draft. Thanks. I have Verge.
you have Verge.
Yeah, draft.
Okay. I mean, you've missed the deadline for the waivers, but you can still make some transfers.
I think it's...
Good morning, Egg. Would you do Eze to Johnson or roll? I would probably roll, but I can understand the desire to make the move, because Nottingham Forest are a decent defence. Eze's been disappointing, so I can understand the desire. Should I buy Johnson and Solanke or Saka and Solanke? I'd be tempted to buy Saka ahead of John. No, would I? Not with the fixture coming up, probably. Yeah, I guess if I'm buying fresh, probably Johnson and Solanke. Good morning, Egg. Would you do Eze to Johnson or roll? Would you do Eze to Johnson or roll? I've done that one, haven't I? I said I would make the move.
Should I cheekily grab Wissa for JP?
Oh yeah, I would.
I think I might do that now.
You might regret not having JP from Game 12 onwards if he's fit, but there's no guarantee. I'd rather have Wissa. Is this the final team, Rossi boy? The only thing I'm thinking about right now is, do I sell Saka to Foden or Son? And who do I start out of Rodgers and Cunha? But yes, this is probably the final team as of right now, with 25 minutes till the deadline. Jack says, start 2 from Einar, Greaves, Rodgers, Dibbling, and Cunha. Start 2 from Einar, Greaves, Rodgers, Dibbling, and Cunha. Oof. I would start Dibbling. A similar situation to me almost. I would go Dibbling and one of Rodgers or Cunha. And at the moment, I'm just about leaning to Rodgers, but I think it's very close. I do think that me wanting to start Cunha is a little bit of, not overthinking, but trying to be different for the sake of it, I wonder. Like, if Cunha and Rodgers had the same ownership, I don't think I'd even be that tempted to start Cunha. I think the reason I'm starting Cunha is because I know not many people have him. And I don't know that that's the best reason to start an asset, if that makes sense. That's not the only reason, of course. He's on penalties. He's 90 minutes. He's playing at home. Like, there are other reasons, but I think that's the main reason. FPL Gallagher says, Jota to Madison / Johnson or roll? I'd roll. I'd happily have Jota this week, in all honesty. Yeah, I would roll. I answered your super chat already, Anurud. Sorry I butchered your name, but I just answered it already. Right, we've got just over 20 minutes till the deadline. As of right now, nothing definitive on Saka. I'm hopeful that he plays, though, so I think I'm going to keep him. Unless we were to get something in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to be keeping Saka. So that is my decision. If we get news, then I think I'm going to go to Foden. So if you've just joined, I'm likely rolling the transfer, but I will do Saka to Foden if we get news in the next 23 minutes that Saka is not starting. He either plays or doesn't feature, in my opinion. Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's not the end of the world. Then I get someone off. Starts or doesn't. Yeah, exactly. And then as long as you've got a decent first sub, I guess it's not the end of the world. By the way, for what it's worth, Saka to Foden isn't a bad move, even if Saka starts. Right? I would expect Foden to probably outscore Saka this week. So it's not a bad move, even if we know that Saka starts. So I still don't mind it. Same with Son as well. I would expect both Son and Foden to score more points than Saka. But it is Saka. He's been playing so well. He's on penalties. He's on set pieces. Bournemouth are a middling defence. They're not bad, but they're also not as good as some people are suggesting. I still don't mind having Bukayo. Foden is blanking. I can't see it, honestly. I can't see it. Start Robinson or Konsa. I'd start Robinson. I think both teams will probably score in that game, in all fairness. Bench one of Mikalenko, Davis, or Timber. I'd bench Timber just because we don't know if he'll start or not. The other two we do. You hope that you get one clean sheet or attacking return between those two. So yeah, I'd start those two. Start dibbling or DCL? DCL. For sure. JWL says Trent and Semenyo to Robinson and Brennan/Madison. Yeah, I don't mind that at all, JWL. Assuming that's for free. If it's for a hit, no. If it's for free, yeah, I'm fine with it. BL has been a member for 18 months. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Porro out for a City defender. If so, who? Not Gvardiol. Would I sell Porro for a City defender? Not in a million years. Just keep Porro. Absolutely not. I'm playing a 3-4-3. Lewis, Trent, Saliba, Salah captain, Garnacho, Mavididi, Saka, Watkins, Havertz, Solanke. It's a lovely team. Very different as well. 0.5 in the bank. Should I remove someone or roll? I have Davis, Robinson, Dibbling on the bench. Oh, God, you absolutely don't remove any of those players, I don't think. No, they're really good. The only slight conversation to be had is whether you start Dibbling instead of Garnacho. That's the only one. I'd be slightly tempted. But at the same time, I think Garnacho starts and he's probably a better asset. I'd probably just keep it as it is. It's a nice team. Tank says start 2 between McNeil, Rodgers and Mbermo. I'd start McNeil and Mbermo and bench Rodgers. Right, we've got 20 minutes until the deadline. The hope is that we get Saka team news in the next 20 minutes, but I'm not overly hopeful. And then if we do, we can obviously respond with who we want to then move him on to. But yeah, as of right now, there's nothing. Start Smith Rowe or Rodgers? I said I'd just about say Smith Rowe. He's the one at home. I've got a feeling that Fulham could beat... I've got a small feeling that Fulham could beat Aston Villa. Havertz to Solanke. I have Saka as well. Havertz to Solanke. I have Saka as well. No. Eze and Trent to Son and Ryan ain't Nuri. Yes, if it's for free. No, if it's for a hit. Look at Charles Watts. Okay. Be right back. Just kidding. I'm taking you with me. Charles Watts. Why am I looking at Charles Watts? He's not tweeted anything. Was it a reply? Why am I looking at him? What's he said? Unless... I don't know. Unless someone's got the wrong person. I was excited then. I thought you were going to give me early team news. Oh, it's Boona. Oh, there we go. Why on earth are people so susceptible to believing early team news that from fake accounts? Okay, it's Boona. There is nothing from Charles Watts. Charles Watts hasn't tweeted in the last 15 hours. No, Charles Watts doesn't say no, Saka. Jesus Christ, chat. What is wrong with you? Start using your detective skills a little bit better. There is no early team news. We have nothing on Saka. That is a fake account. Fake. No, it's not. You should see the chat right now. They're all getting so excited, thinking they've got early team news. So Boona is there's a guy called if you're new to FPL, by the way, there's a guy called FPL Boona on X. He basically changes his handle and profile picture, pretends to be journalist, and spreads fake team news. What you do is just block Boona. Then there's no way that you see his tweets. I've not got him blocked, but I just know to look out for it. If I were you, it's because Boona's a friend, but if I were you, I would just block Boona. As retweeted it. How is Az falling for it?
Oh, no.
Or are you saying Az has retweeted something else? Let me have a look. Just because it's just, I don't know. I'm happy to try and find some early team news. Az is supposed to be an intelligent man. What's he playing at? Why is Az retweeting that? Okay, this is Boona, by the way. You can tell by the amount of followers, and also just look at his previous tweets. Like, Charles Watts isn't tweeting what's Neymar doing there. Just look through their previous tweets. That gives you a bit of an indication, right? Yeah, the real Charles Watts is this guy here. with 601,000 followers, not 21,000. And he tweets only journalism stuff. So yeah, just be a little bit more vigilant before you trust early team news. And I'm talking to you as, what is that about? You have muted this account. There you go. Then you don't have to see it. Anyway, we don't have any early team news, sadly. Yeah, you could still sell Saka, by the way. Again, the same thing applies, that you don't need Saka to be out to justify selling him. Hi, Ross. Would you do Bowen to Brennan Johnson? Yeah, I probably would. Hey, mate, start to Robinson, Semenyo, Rodgers, Ndiaye. I would start the latter two, Rodgers and Ndiaye, I think. Hey, Ross, please rate this team. Flecken, Gabriel, Lewis, Van der Ven, Salah, Mbeumo, McNeil, Rodgers, Watkins, Havertz, Haaland. I would give it an 8 out of 10. There's a bit of an absence of Spurs attack, considering they're the best attack in the league. But there are some nice picks in there. I like McNeil. I like Watkins. You've got Salah still. It's different, but it's good. Start Mikalenko or Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson. I'm going to end that poll. Basically, it's 50-50 between Son and Foden. Flecken to Pickford. I don't know that'd make a goalkeeper transfer. Like, I probably do prefer Pickford, but I don't know that would be a use of a transfer for me. Because you just never know. So difficult to predict what's going to happen with goalkeepers. You never know. Like, would you have expected a 16 pointer it was for Pickford against Newcastle? Not in a million years. You probably expect Newcastle to score and you don't expect the penalty save. Could Flecken get a clean sheet and a penalty save? Absolutely. I just don't think you mess around with goalkeepers.
Yeah. It's too unpredictable.
Yeah. Start Davis or Van der Ven. I prefer Davis this week, but Van der Ven's definitely playing for the better defence. And they're both playing at home, so maybe you start Van der Ven. Right, we've got just under 15 minutes until the deadline. As of right now, we have no early team news on Bukayo Saka. If I had to predict, and I'll try not to sit on the fence, I predict that Saka starts. But that is a prediction, and it is 7 hours until the game, so I've obviously got no idea myself. But yeah, the prediction would be that Saka starts. I would probably not risk it if you've got free transfers to use and your first sub is a bit naff. For me, I'd actually be pretty happy if Cunha came on. So if I do have no Saka, I'm happy with Cunha first sub. Should I do Semenyo to Hudson-Odoi, or should I start Dunk over Semenyo and roll? I wouldn't do Semenyo to Hudson-Odoi. I'd rather like Semenyo to Smith Rowe, Adama, Mavididi, Rodgers. Like, there are loads of players I'd prefer to Hudson-Odoi personally. I'd probably make the move, though. Or just start Semenyo. Like, I'd rather start Semenyo than Dunk, personally. Rodgers or Dibbling to start? I prefer Dibbling, personally. But that's just me. Most people would probably say start Rodgers ahead of Dibbling. Look at Dibbling's data, Ross. I've looked at it. 0.36 XGI per 90. It's not great. Better than Rodgers, though. Better than Delap, who a lot of people are liking. Just click Saka to Foden to see how she feels. No, stop trying to tempt me. You're such bad influences. This might sound dumb, but Trent or Justin. I would never say someone sounds dumb, but I would start Trent 100 times out of 100. Justin's attacking data isn't even that good, by the way. I know he's had attacking returns recently, a lot of them, but the actual data is suggestive that was quite, I say fortunate. One of them was a great finish, one of them was a deflection, and then an assist, but yeah, I don't think he's going to continue getting multiple attacking returns. Hi, Ross. Would you choose Eze or Smith Rowe? Honestly, Eze. But I'm an Eze fanboy. I've got Semenyo on the bench. You reckon I should be safe and sell Saka? No, I honestly don't mind Semenyo coming on. Like, if Bournemouth score, which is always a possibility that a team scores, Semenyo's got a very good chance of being involved in that. So I don't mind Semenyo. That for me isn't a bad first sub. Bad first sub for me would be like Vandenberg or 8 Nuri. Like, if I didn't have Cunha in that slot, then yeah, I'd probably just sell Saka. How can people be going for Foden with KDB back in training? It looks like pure pain waiting to happen. Foden can play on the wings, and also on top of that, Foden can play alongside KDB. Especially with Rodri out, they could definitely both play. It might be that he sits KDB a little bit deeper and plays Foden in the more advanced role. So I think KDB being back is not great for Foden, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't start. And also, will KDB stay fit? We know he struggled with that in the past. I think Foden's still a fine pick. I really do. I'm very jealous of Foden owners. Right, you've got just over 10 minutes until the deadline. Exactly 10 minutes now. The time has just changed. I would be thinking about locking in those teams. I think I'm going to start Rodgers ahead of Cunha, and then I'm just going to blame all you guys if it goes horribly wrong. Because 70% of you told me to start Rodgers, so I just want someone to blame. Didn't they all say Pep wanted to change his tactics to have wingers, and we've seen that thus far with Doku, Grealish left and Savio right, etc.? I don't think we have massively seen that, though. We've seen it with Grealish on the left. I think we could see more Bernardo Silva on the right. I think he's actually changed his tactics slightly. Like, Savio's not starting many games. I think it's difficult to try and predict. I do think you're correct that Foden isn't as nailed on as like a Son, Palmer, Saka, but the upside is massive. He could score a hat-trick in any given week. Like, Saka's never scored a hat-trick for Arsenal, I don't think. Foden got 2 hat-tricks last year. Like, Foden has huge upside. Do you have a source for Saka out? No, I don't, because we don't have that news. No, sadly, nothing on Saka as of right now. I'm going to just start him and hope that he plays. Or just doesn't feature at all. I love Bukayo Saka in my team. And like for me, I know that from game week 12 onwards, I want Saka. All right? I want Saka here. So if I want Saka here, and I think he hopefully starts this game, these aren't great, but I also don't think they're awful fixtures against Newcastle and Chelsea. And you never know what will happen in the game between Arsenal and Liverpool. That could be a high-scoring game. I just think I'd rather save the transfers than use 2. Unless I know that he's definitely out. I think Bukayo Saka's great. And I think I'd rather use my transfers elsewhere. So there we go. If Foden was in like a really hot run of form, let's say Foden had like started the last 4 or 5 games and he'd scored loads of goals and he was looking like he did last season, I'd probably make the move. I really would. But like you're taking a massive punt on a player that's not shown that this season yet. You hate it when we don't get early team news. I think this is the way the game should be. I think early team news ruins the game. And I know I'm always looking for it because you're going to use what you can to your advantage. But I don't think we should be getting early team news. Part of the skill and fun in FPL is trying to predict who is going to start and who's going to get good minutes. So I feel like when we get early team news, it kind of doesn't ruin the game. But I definitely think the game would be better without early team news, for sure. Hi, Ross. Havertz to Wood. No, I'd keep Havertz. Everyone's desperate to sell Havertz. I think Havertz is fine. Rodgers or Smith Rowe? I still think Smith Rowe just about. But that's very close. But Smith Rowe's got the home fixture. Yeah. Just joined. Have you made any changes? The only change I've made is Cunha's back on the bench. But in terms of actual transfers, I've not made any transfers. Is this the week you could get ahead of the curve with Foden? Always looking to get on a player before he bursts into form? Absolutely, yeah. That's the flip side, is that you don't really want to wait until Foden's scoring goals to bring him in. You want to bring him in as he starts scoring the goals. So yeah, this is probably your best entry point for Foden. Next week, yes, he's got Southampton at home, but you've lost the Wolves away fixture. So I am of the opinion, if you're looking to bring in Foden, this is the week to do it. I just don't know if I can do it, because I think Saka's great. Saka showed last week what he's all about. I honestly think you should start Cunha, not because I think he's better, but because you seem underwhelmed with Rodgers and should do something fun. I get that. I do. I don't necessarily think that... Like, Dibbling for me is the fun pick. I'm going to start Dibbling, but I don't think starting Cunha for me is that much more fun than Rodgers. I don't think Cunha's a fun pick against Man City. Dibbling is a fun pick against Leicester. I do think this is the right call now. I think benching a player that's got Man City is fine. If he scores, he scores. But Man City are a good defence. So I think I'm gonna stick with this. Dibbling or Mbermo for this week? Mbermo, absolutely. Dibbling's great, by the way. I like him, but you don't start him instead of Mbermo. Starting Vandenberg is a fun pick. No, it's not. Man United are going to win 6-0. Archer or Trossard? Wait, what? Trossard? Confused. Which three to start? Davis, Trent, Gabriel, Milenkovic. Trent, Gabriel, and Davis. Bench Milenkovic. You've got just under 5 minutes until the deadline, by the way. I would probably just be locking in your teams. Doesn't look like we're going to get Saka news. I'm going to start Saka. I'm going to keep Saka, and I'm going to hope that he hauls and punishes those selling. Dibbling or Semenyo? I'd start Dibbling. Is it silly to get Son when I have Bowen? No, they're not related at all because they're not defenders. They're playing in the same game, but they're not defenders. So they could both conceivably do very well. Start Cunha, you chicken. I'm not being a chicken. I just think Rodgers has the slightly better fixture. In fact, a much better fixture. When I spoke about it, I think if one of the two teams between Wolves and Villa are going to score 2+ goals, it's going to be Villa. I'd be surprised if City concede another 2 goals. 2+ goals. So I think Rodgers' ceiling is higher this week, which is why I'm starting him. In all honesty, I think they both probably blank. And I don't think this is an important discussion to be having. Just impulse sold Saka to Foden. Good luck, Kieran. Ross, sell DCL to Cunha or hold one more week. Definitely hold one more week. DCL has got Ipswich. Cunha's got Man City. You can't sell DCL of Cunha. Brennan captain, let's fly. Good luck. Hope you're well, Sir Raptor. Konsa / Vandenberg. I'd definitely start Konsa. Villa have actually been slightly better defensively than people give them credit for. Semenyo or Fass as first sub? That's more tough than you'd expect. I'd still have Semenyo first sub. Got a few minutes until the deadline. Make sure you got your team locked in. Make sure your vice captain sorted. I am not putting the vice captain on Saka because if for whatever reason Haaland were to miss out and Saka missed out, that means I don't have a captain. So I put my vice captain on Solanke because unless there's something that I don't know about, Solanke at least knows he's going to start. So that's why my vice armband's on Solanke. It probably doesn't matter, but if you're wondering, I think Saka's a better captaincy option than Solanke, but I just don't know that he's definitely going to play. Love the look of my team this week. Always a bad sign. Yeah, you never want to like the look of your team. That's a rookie mistake. I hate my team this week, so it's probably going to do well. We should all probably captain Mbermo, realistically. No, Man United aren't as bad as people are suggesting. I've got a feeling Brentford might score in the first couple of minutes again. Because Man United start games really slowly. There you go. I don't recommend gambling, but if you wanted to put on a bet, Brentford to score in the first 5 minutes. Could see it happening. Like, if you watch Man United, we literally start like we've just woken up from a nap. Walking around dazed and confused, all of our players. Every game, it's terrible. Actually, that's a lie. Is it? We started quite well against Fulham in game week 1, I think. Is it viable to go double Man City defence knowing they leak goals? The data still suggests they're a good defence, so it's up to you. I probably wouldn't double up on the defence myself. Just under 2 minutes until the deadline. Make sure you're getting your teams locked in. Diaz to Foden. Yes, I would go for it if it's a free. Are you sure about your bench order? Yeah, I'm feeling very happy with my bench order. Am I? Yeah. I can't see Wolves keeping City out. So I'm relying on an attacking return from Aït-Nouri. Vandenberg at right back has some small amount of attacking threat and much higher chance for clean sheet. And Cunha's just much better than the other two. Yeah, I'm happy with my bench order, but thank you for asking. Pickle, why are you starting Cunha over Rodgers? You're a Villa fan. Frosty said.
Does it matter?
She said in a really sassy way, does it matter? Fass or Burn? I would start Fass.
I don't think Cunha's going to score. Simple as that. I don't think Rodgers is going to get.
I'm going to be really sad if Cunha scores. Don't make me start Cunha at this last second.
No, you do what you think.
I don't know what I think. I don't know. I even spun the Wahil and that didn't help. Damn. Oh, well, I've got a minute to the deadline. I'm not going to change my decision now. I'm going to regret it. Well, at least we've got Cunha for next week. If Cunha scores, sad times, but Cunha, I've got him for next week.
Yeah, it's good for the future. future.
Yeah.
You feel confident having him, and most people don't.
Exactly. Wissa might be back the next 5 games are great. I don't think he'll start this week, but I agree that from next week, if Wissa gets minutes this week, I'll be looking at him. Well, I don't really need a forward. But yeah, I agree. Start Cunha, trust. Rodgers is a bum. If Cunha scores, you can celebrate Pickle's success. No, I can't. Saka not starting and it's official. I don't know where you've seen that. I've not seen that. So there we go.
Well, you get Cunha then, if that's the case.
Well, if he's not in the squad, I do. Yeah, but if Saka's on the bench, that's a nightmare. Right, that's it. We're locked. Done. Dusted. This is the team. Everyone on Twitter is selling Saka. Andy just sold Saka for Son.
Oh, wow, really?
I'd be gutted if Andy knows, because Andy has Arsenal team loot. He always gets Arsenal team news. So I'll be a bit gutted if he's found something out and he's not said anything. But good. The more people selling Saka, the better. It means his ownership will be lower. Just need to hope that Son and Foden don't go ballistic today. Oh no, Foden's tomorrow, isn't he? Right, let me tweet my team out. Andy started Saka. He panicked and did it last second. People are saying last second he did it. Okay, fair. He's probably just copying FPL review, isn't he? He got called out.
That's savage.
Analytics. It's just the FPL review team each week. Right, let me put that in. Where's my... Hello? Why's my phone breaking? Thank you. I feel like I've got the benching decision wrong. But oh well. Right. Is that my team? Yeah. Cool. Done. Pickles, I can't believe you started Cunha. Why are you doing that to me?
I've said for like 2 weeks that I was thinking about benching Rodgers. And only a couple of days ago did you start saying the same thing.
Me. Can you hear in the background?
I think Rodgers is a baller, by the way. It's just that Fulham have been very good.
Yeah.
And when you say like if Villa are going to score, it's more likely going to be Watkins or something, isn't it?
I think, yeah. The thing is, if Cunha bangs, his ownership is so low, it doesn't hurt my rank. It hurts my feelings.
If Rodgers returns, it will hurt me badly.
Yeah. So I guess it's a bit of a safer play starting Rodgers.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry if Rodgers does bang, because that's going to be hard as a Villa fan, watching Rodgers score.
It will be, and I'll feel bad. But
When do they play? 3 p.m. today, is it, Villa?
I've got to own the decision, you know?
That's going to be when we're at the gym. You're going to beat me up. I'm so hungry. Should I just order the McDonald's now? Or?
No.
We're trying to be well behaved with our diet.
He's such a bad influence.
Thanks for streaming, Ross. I'll take a shower and lay in bed until football. Have a lovely weekend with Pickle. Thank you very much, mate. I hope you feel better soon. Yeah, hopefully the weekend of FPL makes you feel better. So, what do you want? 20 nugs, 25 selects, McCrispy and 10 large fries. I would absolutely destroy McDonald's. I would eat McDonald's for you, actually more likely to be Popeyes. I'll tell you what, Frosty, we had a Popeyes once because we just fancied them a bit different. It actually was really nice, didn't it?
It was so nice. I really liked it.
It's only once. Pickle has such a posh accent. Pickle, talk louder for the fans.
Why do they think that?
You got to talk really loud so they can hear you even if they've not got headphones on.
What am I meant to say?
Say, I don't have a posh voice in your posh voice.
I don't want to say that.
She's actually from Birmingham. She's from Birmingham.
I'm far from posh, to be honest, but thanks.
She's a posh Brummie. They do exist, believe it or not.
Yeah, we don't all sound, well, actually that's controversial, but...
What were you going to say?
I was going to say we don't all sound bad, but that's mean.
Why are you dissing your fellow Brummies?
No, I love Brummies. I love the accent. I think it's great.
Defo from Sutton or Solihull, someone said.
Absolutely not, but thanks.
She's not. Good guesses, though.
Solihull. Jesus Christ.
She was really offended by the Solihull guess.
I'm literally so far away.
Is she a Peaky Blinder? How is she Brummie sounding like that? I'm telling you she is.
I'm not from...
She sounds Black Country.
I'm not from the Black Country either.
Oh, no, my stream's just died.
Oh, no.
Wait, what? Hey, can you hear me, chat? I looked down, it's got a red bar and it says 0. No. Can you hear me? Hello? Oh no, chat. Where's my stream gone?
Waitrose accent.
Okay, I think we might be back.
I have no idea. Leamington Spa?
Okay, alright, I think we're back. Leamington Spa's funny. What's wrong with Sutton? You're upsetting people by dissing Sutton and Solihull.
Sutton's great. Well, it's not what it used to be though, to be fair.
I'm back, but my bald head is tweaking. Do you want to see my bald head? There you go.
I'd love to live in Four Oaks. Four Oaks is so nice.
I
think it's lagging.
Still, should be fine now.
No.
She's probably.
Yes, I know Four Oaks is Sutton. What the fuck? Oh, sorry.
Oh, now you're swearing. Now you're gonna get my stream demonetized. You can send me the money that I lost for this stream.
Saying that I'd love to live in Four Oaks. It's very bougie.
What's NanaRaptor's moves this week? NanaRaptor, if you're in the stream, what moves did you make this week? NanaRaptor's actually managing her own team this week, and that's not to say that I've ever done it for her, but basically what we used to do is we used to call and I used to give her some options and opinions, and then she'd make decisions based on that. But this year, she's like fully managing her team. Just got blinded by the glare off the head. Now take off the top. Ross, what kind of hair did you have as a kid? Very thin.
Aww. It was nice though.
Thanks.
Also, not Warsaw either. I know Warsaw very well.
Mackenzie says, am I cooked? I did Saka to Foden last minute and I have no 8th attacker. Am I cooked? But I'm absolutely laughing if Son and Salah blank. No, I think Saka to Foden last minute's great. I told you, even if Saka starts, Foden's still probably outscore him this week, you'd imagine. Pickle triggered on a Saturday morning. Stop getting triggered, Pickle.
I'm not triggered. I have been called posh before though. I don't know why.
What is Pickle's fiance's team? Have you got a fiance? I hope not.
I don't have a ring on my finger, so I'm not sure about that.
Is NanaRaptor doing better without your advice? NanaRaptor's not had the best start to the season, no. I think she also didn't realise the mechanisms of FPL and she took a player out and brought them back in and didn't realise that was 2 transfers. So she took a -8 a couple of weeks ago doing that.
Someone said hangry pickle.
Hangry. She probably is hangry. I was going to say she's not adding. She's had a little bit of food, but not a lot.
Yeah. I tried to do some work earlier, but I didn't get it.
People are winding you up so much. Pickle is fully triggered. I'm not gonna lie. She is the easiest person to wind up. Like you could wind her up in 5 seconds and she'd lose it. Her fuse is this long. Pickle needs her Mackies. I know she does. Can you just order some Mackies, please? Thanks. What kind of world is this? You have a bad start in FPL and even your nan ghosts you. Oh, you laugh. Made me laugh. Could NanaRaptor ever be on your podcast? Absolutely. Absolutely, she could. How close to Andy's team is FPL Pickles? Not at all, actually.
Pardon?
How close to Let's Talk FPL is your team?
Oh, I have no idea.
She doesn't watch his content, you know. Do you remember last season when you basically had the same team as Andy all year? Yeah, that was nice, wasn't it? Didn't make me feel bad at all.
Who was 1.9k? Not him.
The chat are just absolutely winding you up. Pickle head loss. Pickle needs to relax. This is fantastic. Everyone's normally roasting me. Pickle needs to chill. How are you getting triggered on a Saturday morning? The funny thing is she's not at all triggered, but she does normally get triggered. My camera froze, sorry.
Sounds like Pickle needs a massage, absolutely.
I need a massage.
Yeah, and you. We both need a massage. We're both of them.
Favourite dinosaur other than the Velociraptor? Stegosaurus. What's your favourite dinosaurs, chap?
Must admit, I've not thought about that before.
You've not? I'm going to go for a Stegosaurus. Get Pickle on therapy soon, please. Trust me, I'm trying. Ross, when was the last time you had pickle juice on a reel? I had pickles yesterday, actually, in my baguette. Lots of them. I actually say to the baguette lady that works at my uni, can I have lots of pickles? And then she just throws tons. Dan the Mank UK. I don't even know if I want to read out that dinosaur. Like to lick a lot of puss. Yeah, that's a great dinosaur. We've actually got some serious ones. Diplodocus, Triceratops, Pterodactyl, fair play, classic. Pickford. Someone said Trigosaurus. Can you just She's going like this. She's going. Oh, funny times.
I didn't have a dinosaur phase, so I don't really know what many of them are.
Eggosaurus. You guys should stream together, pickled eggs. Do you want to come on the stream? Like, no. She couldn't think of anything worse.
Not when I'm being savage like this.
How's M&S treating you? Not this again. She needs therapy for dating you.
No, I think the other way around, to be honest.
Pickle's not in the mood today. Nah, she's livid. This is the best.
I'm so happy right now.
That sounded so fake and sarcastic. I know it wasn't, but it sounded. I'm so happy right now.
That's just the
Talk about Sleeper. I'd rather not, in all honesty. Had enough about it.
Oh yeah, Kunyasaurus. That's my favourite dinosaur.
Never annoy your lady on the day of football. They have the power over the remote control. She's more likely to want to watch the football than I am.
Yeah, I love football.
She for sure needs a nap. She's mad.
Oh, I need a nap all day, every day. Always tired.
Ross, early thoughts on Spurs versus Hammers game. What do we think, chat? What will the score be between Spurs and West Ham? I'm going to say 3-1 Spurs.
Yeah, I was about to say the same.
Say 3-1 Spurs. Why is Mobama triggered? Pickle may as well delete FPL.
Not gonna lie, my team looks like absolute poo, but...
Yeah, my team looks awful. 3-1. Lots of people saying 3-1 as well.
Oh.
Never back the early kickoff. Yep, 2-0 West Ham incoming. Nah, I think Spurs have got way too much for West Ham. Way too much. Didn't get any Spurs because I trust Gandhi. Your Alexa sounds quite aggressive, Ross. And yeah, she is.
You haven't beefed Alexa lately.
Don't keep saying her name. It's going to set her off.
True.
Somehow that didn't set her off. Blink twice if you need saving from Pickle, Ross. No, I wouldn't do that.
I'm so chill, guys.
She is, bless her. We love her, really. We're only one. We love you. We love you. We wind you up out of love. This is my sister's team.
Oh,
We always give someone a shout out in every stream. This stream it's going to be Hayley. Feel free to follow my sister, FPL Hayley. She's also my short form editor. She does a cracking job at editing my short form content. And she's also playing FPL really seriously for the first time this season. She's played it before, but not really seriously. She's actually doing quite well. I think she's ranked higher than me. In fact, she is. She's like 20, 30 points ahead of me. But yeah, feel free to follow at FPL Hayley and comment and say, we love you, Hayley. There we go. She might be watching the stream. She might not. She's probably not. Nana Raptor said, I put in Luis Diaz for Martinelli. put in Luis Diaz for Martinelli. I respect it. Other people are selling Diaz, which I respect. You're going against the grain, Nanoraptor. I like it. I don't think Martinelli will start for what it's worth, so it's probably a good idea to take him out.
Well, you're both back in Dibbling.
Oh yeah, I didn't realise she's got Dibbling. It's not too dissimilar from my team actually. Sanchez I like as a long-term pick.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, that wasn't her eventual team, was it?
Huh?
That wasn't even her final team.
Oh, wait, what?
That was her final team. Did she make the move? Jackson to Wood, Semenyo to Madison.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I was commenting on another one. Okay, we'll say on this one instead. We love you, Haley. Oh, the teams are out. Okay. Stop. Yeah, I'm starving. We'll order the McDonald's in a sec.
They can't order McDonald's.
It's funny. It's funny.
This is proof that you're the bad influence.
What? Where are Spurs' tweets gone? Hello? Wait, it is 11:15 the team's come out, isn't it?
Oh, by the way, can I have my watch, please? Is that too much of an inconvenience right now?
Massive inconvenience.
Sorry. I keep looking at my wrist and I don't have it on. Thank you so much. Legend.
Wait, am I missing something? Stream's laggy. Yeah, I'm not surprised. To be fair, my computer's having a fit.
Overheated.
I thought it was an hour and 15 minutes. Why isn't it? No, it used to be an hour. Now it's hour 15, I thought. Have they changed it back? Or have I just gone mental? It is 11:15. Has the social media person just forgot to tweet the team?
I bet people just keep forgetting that that's a thing.
Yeah, people saying West Ham have tweeted their team. Yeah, I think they've just forgot to tweet their team. Yeah, look, West Ham tweeted a minute ago. West Ham's team is decent.
Oh, I hate having Flecken.
Son Starts just posted. Have they? Oh, here we go. Jesus, that was a bit late. 2 minutes late. Son starts, Solanke starts, Johnson starts. It's their strongest team. Oh dear. I regret not buying Son already.
Oh yeah, it's a good team.
That is a very good team. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh well, at least we've got Solanke. But I feel like Johnson and Son could absolutely bang. Can't see Son playing 90 minutes. Yeah, this is true. I hope that's the case. What are people saying about my team? Am I getting loads of love? I better be.
You're like, why didn't you start Cunha?
I miss the Raptor. I am stubborn and won't pick Haaland. Tears. What is this optimal team nowadays? It's definitely not optimal. I'm starting Dibbling. Yeah, I would have subbed Dibbling for Cunha for sure. Fair enough. People don't like Dibbling. I'm going to really enjoy his hat-trick. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, if he scores, then you can just laugh at everyone.
I can laugh.
Laugh.
Laugh. It's definitely not laugh, but fair play.
It is.
Sun starting has to improve Solanke, though, so should be a positive. Hopefully, if that's the case, I'd love that. Yeah, I hope Saka going off would be lovely. Saka popping off at 5:30. Not going off. That sounds like I wanted to be subbed off. Popping off. Saka hat-trick would be his first hat-trick for Arsenal today. Would be lovely. Lovely.
I just need McNeil to wipe your Davis clean sheet out. So.
And I need Davis to keep McNeil out. Is Son on pens? I think so, but we still don't know that 100%. Could be Madison, could be Solanke. I'd imagine it's Son, though, yeah. Does Son starting make Johnson better or worse? I don't think it affects him at all. Shouldn't affect him at all. It will make Spurs slightly better. So if anything, it might slightly boost Johnson. I guess it's more players. So someone else could, like, for example, Werner could come off on the right for Johnson. Or they could bring on like they've got more players, so maybe it affects his minutes slightly in a negative way. But yeah. Wish we had transfers in/out for Twitter only. Reckon most players held Saka and it's just the Twitter sphere that's overreacting. The thing is, though, his ownership last week was so low. At my rank, Saka was 36%. That was last week. And that was against Leicester. With people selling him, wanting to get Palmer, wanting to get Haaland, wanting to get Son and Foden, I reckon Saka could be like below 30%.
That's wild if that's the case.
He's really lowly owned. Surprisingly lowly owned. So I'm happy to keep him. Did you roll, Ross? Yeah, I rolled the free transfer. So going into game week 9, I'm going to have 3 free transfers.
I'm sad. I'm a transfer behind you.
Please remember me when Brennan Cap bangs. Fair play. It's a risky move, but I like it. You're a transfer behind me? Yeah, but you're also 30 points ahead of me, aren't you?
Well, that's not my problem.
Pickle's triggered, guys. Can you hear her over there? Absolute head loss this morning. Pickle has lost her mind this morning.
Didn't have Haaland from the beginning.
Why are you beefing me? You said that you feel like you're behind me slightly, and I was like, yeah, but you're ahead on points. I was being nice. Now you're like,
I just went transfer-wise. I'm definitely not behind you in the game.
Can you hear? You probably didn't hear that. She said, I meant I was behind you transfer-wise. I'm definitely not behind you in the game. Pickle is she is rattled. She's gone. Yeah. Bye, Pickle. Head's got head loss. See you later. It's not there anymore. Will you guys have an FPL-themed wedding? Maybe. Maybe we should say I do at the 11 a.m. deadline on a Saturday. And like make last-minute transfers whilst on the altar.
We can have an FPL-themed cake.
Which doesn't seem... Please. She's gone feral. Cracking me up.
Not the red card. I've been sent off.
Should we do a live meet now on Club? This isn't sponsored by Club, but we can do a... Wait, I don't know where my finger needs to go.
What's happening?
Is that Tobedo? Oh, Todibo, whatever. The West Ham. That was terrible. Shouldn't have done that. Boo. I was doing a meeting with my agent, Manny.
Oh.
Where is your and Pickle's top 3 vacation places out of the UK? Where we're together, we've been Amsterdam, we've been Kos, we've been Sorrento,
So those are 3.
and we've been to Birmingham. So Birmingham. Yeah, no, we've only been to 3 places together. Where do we want to go? I do want to go to Asia still.
I'd love to go to
I'd like to go to Japan.
Norway, Denmark, one of those.
Norway, Denmark, fair. I want to go to Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland's very expensive, but nice.
I was speaking to that guy that offered to host me in Switzerland. He said it's no more expensive than London. He's like, it's honestly, people over-exaggerate how expensive it is.
Oh, really?
So maybe it's not as bad as people suggest. It's probably expensive in comparison to like, I don't know, like, yeah, the Midlands and Essex, my mum said.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be my top favourite. I love home, but not Essex, particularly.
Well, I've never been
Come to Dubai. Dubai's on my list. I would like to see Dubai. I hear mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people don't. Manny says, love everything you do, Raptor. Surely let's do something funny for the chat. Can you call FPL mate and ask him when he's wildcarding? I could do. Also, he's really sick today. All love Raptor. Is he? Did he not stream then, or did he just stream very ill? Dan's going to wildcard in game 12, isn't he? Oh, God, I'm tired. Just get rid of her for a -4. What, Pickle? Okay. -4, off you go. London is effing extortionate. Yeah, I know. Come to Sydney. Come to Sydney. Oh, lots of people ask me to come to Sydney. Oh, but apparently it's expensive. I don't want to come to Sydney then. My issue with Sydney is the spiders. I'm genuinely put off visiting Australia because if I look up on the ceiling and see one of those big bastards that I see on TikTok, when there's spiders that you can't even fit in a container, I would sob. I can deal with smaller spiders. I can get them with a glass, but those bastards that look like they weigh like a 4 kg dumbbell, not okay. They called huntsman spider.
Ew.
Like when they're hairy, as soon as a spider has hair, they've got more hair on their head than I do. Surely call him on chat. The thing is, I know Dan, but I don't have ever called Dan in my life. If I called FPL mate and was just like, when are you Wildcard? He'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, that's a swear word. Demonetized. Oh, demonetized.
Definitely demonetized.
Game over. Demonetized. Not a family friendly stream. Not family friendly. Oh, here we go. It's all rest in peace. The stream's gone. It was nice while it lasted. YouTube will ban me. You're just jealous they have hair. He can't. He is scared of money spiders. All right, mum. Don't bait me out like that. Ross doesn't like it hairy. Right. This is the end of the stream, I think. Colourful stream today, Ross. I know. Can I sue for trauma? Come to Dubai or Montreal or Egypt. 3 very different places. I've been to Egypt myself. Went to Sharm el Sheikh. Pickle's influence. Her head went and it's rubbed off on you, so really it's her fault. It is your fault. Your head loss has influenced me. The beef is real. It is worth off camera between you and Pickle. Yeah, imagine a big slab of beef. Just slapping. Oh, that was way louder than I thought. Yeah, I didn't mean to make connection. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. That clap was not meant to be that loud. Apologise to anyone that has headphones in.
Oh my god, yeah, you probably just deafened them.
What's going on with Pickle today? I love the idea that in their head you're just sat there absolutely rattled, and really she's just on her phone like all smiley. She's got no idea what's happening. Did you like Sharm el Sheikh? I loved it, honestly. I stayed at a place called Sharks Bay, and they advised that we didn't go in the sea because obviously it was called Sharks Bay because there were so many sharks. Thanks for the eardrum perforation. I'm so sorry. Man, I slept through the deadline. Was meant to do Jackson to Solanke, praying for a Jackson masterclass. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he does outscore him. Wait, do you say masterclass? Do you say masterclass?
Yeah, I say masterclass.
Oh my god, that's a double Is it masterclass versus masterclass? That's a double
Yeah.
rather than an How did you and Pickle meet? She was in my live streams and she was desperate for me to love her. So I was like, fine then. Super fan and all that. That's how it went, right? Manny says, call FPL mate for the troll, surely. Also, Melbourne is better than Sydney. Melbourne's home. Also, this is for demonetization. Thank you for the other super chat. I'm not going to call FPL mate because, again, it'd be very weird when we don't have that relationship. But I will go to Melbourne then. If you're telling me that Melbourne's better than Sydney, I'll trust you.
Yeah, exactly. Where is the R?
What do you mean? Masterclass.
Bath and master and laughter and...
I think you're wrong, other than me.
Do you say draft or draft?
Draft.
For like a draft Ellen?
Draft for all of them.
Draft.
Sydney is clear. Sydney is clear. Okay. I feel like this is a bit of a debate. People are going back and forth on Sydney versus Melbourne. Maybe I'll just do both, and then I'll make my own decision. I will just have to get someone that walks around with me, protecting me from spiders. Does anyone in the chat that lives in Australia want to spend 2 weeks with me in Australia, and you can just be my spider getter? You can protect me, my spider protector. If anyone wants to take on that role, let me know.
Yeah, my friends didn't really like Sydney. What?
Bro started Sydney-Melbourne war. Melbourne just the brother that feels left out. Maybe we could get a whole squad of people that can protect me from the spiders. I'd feel very comfortable if there was like 4 or 5 people. Like maybe like walking around me in a circle, just preventing the spiders from hurting me. I love that people are actually saying yes to all of these. Mate, no one thinks of Melbourne when you talk about Australia. It's always Sydney. Go to Melbourne for the weekend, leave, go in another few months. Okay, fair. Okay, I'll do a weekend in Melbourne then. If you ever come to Dubai, let me know. I'll tell you all the good spots. I will. In all honesty, every time I seem to go on holiday now, I just tweet out that I'm going on holiday and people tell me. Like when I went to Amsterdam, I put out a tweet saying, can people advise me? and I had like 400 responses, something ridiculous. When we went to Sorrento, I did the same thing. So next time Pickle and I go on a holiday somewhere, I'll put out a tweet, and those people that know what they're doing can advise. I'd spend the weekend with you, Ross. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm so hungry.
Same.
Chat, I'm very sorry. This might be the moment when I have to give up and go and eat food. If you ever come to Worcestershire, I'll make sure I'm away for the weekend. That's rude.
My dad's from Worcestershire, so maybe that's why I don't sound as
Yeah, maybe.
Brummy.
Are you any good at football yourself? I'm decent.
That's downplaying it a little bit.
I have played football at a decent level. Mukbang stream. I could just eat on stream.
Well, mukbang.
Yeah, get loads of
Well, you don't say mukbang, do you?
muck. I said muck.
No, how do you say the bang bit?
Bang.
No, you do say bang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I might have said bong. I didn't mean to.
No, I was just wondering.
But you say mook.
Mukbang.
Mook. I could eat on stream. Could just get 60 chicken nuggets. Should we just order loads of chicken nuggets?
You're outrageous.
When is your Mackie order arriving? Pickle's telling me I'm not allowed to have McDonald's.
We literally have those tenders in the fridge.
New channel, Baldy Meets Food.
Oh god, yeah.
Shall I do that? Rub food on my bald head. People would love that. They would.
I feel like do you think I'd be good at the food challenges or not?
I don't know. You eat very quickly and you can eat a decent amount, but I don't know if you'd like... I've never seen you eat an obscene amount of food. I've never watched you and thought that is stupid, the amount. Only that time when you ate that whole biryani.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The Indian that we ordered from, the biryani that you order, it's like genuinely like this big and it's really deep. It's probably enough to serve like 3 or 4 fully grown men. And Pickle ate the entire biryani one week, like all by herself. It was a big mistake because she couldn't move for like 6 days after. But who did you play footy for? I played footy for Spurs for 8 years. No, that's a lie. 7.5 years. I also played for Arsenal for a year. I played for Chelsea for about 6 months before deciding to sign for Spurs. Yeah, but mainly it was Spurs. Same year group as Carl Walker-Peters, who I played with for like 5 seasons at Spurs. I was the year below Harry Winks. So it was under 7s to under 15s. I played for Spurs. So I left just before you get a thing called a youth scholarship, which is when you start getting paid. And I left just before that because of injuries. She turned into a biryani, basically. What position did you play? I played left wing. My favourite position was left wing in a 4-3-3. I didn't like as much left mid in a 4-4-2. I also really enjoyed playing left wing back in like a 5 at the back or a 3 at the back. That was one of my favourite positions. Because it's like there's a bit of defensive responsibility, but you can fly up and down that wing. But because you've got a 3 at the back, like if you don't track back every time, you're not in massive trouble. So the egg is still live. What's going on? Not for much longer, Chai, but yeah, I'm starving hungry, to be fair. So you worked for free as a kid, then said no to money, instead going to uni, spending loads of money that you're going to have to pay back for the rest of your life. And I'm not even probably going to use my uni degrees for my job because I'd like to do FPL. So
Bonkers, really?
yeah, I might never use any of my degrees. Well, the thing is, I learned a lot at university. Like the reason I am the person I am today in terms of organization, understanding of stats, like I feel like my academic intelligence that I've built up, not necessarily my natural academic intelligence, but the things that I've learned does help me in FPL and content creation and organizational skills. And I feel like you learn a lot as a human going to university, like moving away from home and having to do stuff for yourself. So I'm still glad I've done all of that I have at uni, but it is crazy that I might end up just being a YouTuber after having a bachelor's, master's and PhD. How much would you be on FPL? I don't know, probably 5. I would say 4.8 million after I get 2 price drops from 5 because everyone sells me. Just started an MSc in sports psych. Any suggestions on dissertation topic? I think just like overall, if I had to split sports psychology up into a few different topics, you've got like group processes. So things like cohesion, communication, leadership, things like that. Like what makes a team function well. Then you've got individual differences. You've got things like personality and what makes certain athletes tick more than others. Then you've got kind of improving performance. So things like imagery. How do we stop people from choking under pressure? How do we allow athletes to get that like extra 1%? So I would think like what interests you more? What makes a team function well? What makes individual athletes better or worse than others? And then also, why is my stream lagging and crashing? Also, like how can you improve performance? I'm most interested in improving performance. So like my interest is in like reducing choking under pressure, using imagery and different techniques to improve performance. That's what I prefer. Are you left-footed? I am left-footed, yeah. I am indeed. You have a PhD in what? No, I'm still doing my PhD in sports psych. I don't have it yet, sadly. I wish I did have it. That'd be nice. But you've done incredibly well despite the football injury setback. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Pickle has a degree in rattleness.
Yes, I do.
She does, to be fair. Yeah. You are very intelligent, Ross. I try my best. There are definitely more intelligent people out there.
No, you're scary intelligent, to be honest.
Thank you.
You're the most intelligent person I've ever met. Hands down.
Pickle being nice. Did you hear that, chat? How nice.
I went to a grammar school and I think you're the most intelligent person I ever met. Like, clear. I can't lie.
Thanks. Look at that. Look at that compliment. Beaming from ear to ear. No, there are definitely more intelligent people than me out there, but I think I've got naturally I'm okay with my intelligence, but I also work very hard. I think if you pair the two of them, then they tend to go quite well. Because you get some people that are naturally very intelligent that don't work hard. And you also sadly get people that really want to work hard but don't have that natural intelligence. Also, intelligence is like it's difficult to define and pinpoint. Like you could say that an artist that can create beautiful art, that's intelligence. That's artistic intelligence. That's being able to look at something and replicate that in a painting. But most people wouldn't call that intelligence. They'd call that like talent. But I still think there's an element of intelligence there. So sweet. What's happening? Pickle's being nice. What does Pickle want? Pickle probably wants some McDonald's, knowing her. You do, don't you? You'd love. We would muller some. Well, I'd just grab some McDonald's fries and just stuff them in my mouth.
We can make burritos. They're nice though.
I don't want burritos. I want dirty fried chicken.
Oh my goodness.
Rosh, you're great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Raptor Boss. Oh, sorry, Manny. I didn't see that. Pickford, Lewis, Romero, Trent, Salah, and Burmo, Johnson, Hudson-Odoi, Haaland, Delap, Watkins. Can you rate my team, Big Boss? Also, all love. Big love. Can I rate your team? Okay. I'm going to say 8.9. I think there are slightly better long-term picks than Delap, and I'm not so sure about Hudson-Odoi. But other than that, I like the rest of the picks. I also like that there are some different picks in there, like Pickford, Romero. You've still got Watkins. I like it.
Oh, that's a good question.
What was the question?
What was your best attribute playing football? So your speed?
Crossing. Speed and crossing. If you imagine, did anyone used to watch Harry Kewell back in the day? It's a very old reference. If you're young, you won't remember Harry Kewell. Like Harry Kewell, Ryan Giggs. Basically, I bombed up and down that left wing and just crossed the ball. I didn't cut inside. I didn't shoot. I didn't do step overs. I was just extremely quick, ran down the left wing and crossed the ball. That was it. Like Gareth Bale when he was first started at Spurs, that kind of thing. So yeah, I was very, very, very fast. I used to do 100-meter sprinting as well. That was my other thing that I did. 100-meter sprinting and football. And yeah, you should just cross the ball. So my crossing was very, very good. That was my one attribute. Oh no, my cat. Oh, we lagging. That might be the sign.
No.
That might be the sign to go and eat food. Okay. Right, chat. My camera's lagging out, but I will say I love you and leave you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for being here, as always, with me on the stream. It's good to have FPL back and the streaming back, and I will catch you probably on Sunday for a transfer plans video. I love you lots. Have a good weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye.